How you feeling, man?
Pretty lucky.
Say what?
I'm fine. I'm pretty fine.
What?
Well, yeah, I'm good.
How are you?
That was the wrong one. Wait a minute.
What's up?
What's up? How you feeling, man?
I'm pretty lucky.
Say what?
I'm fine. I'm pretty fine.
What?
Well, yeah, I'm good.
How are you? I'm good.
Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. So, hello and welcome everyone to Thank You for Collecting, episode 8. I am your host. Wait 1 second. I had the stream starting on my other browser. Oh, sorry about that. I am your co-host, Ty, aka Uncommon Flex. I'm joined by another returning host, maybe our third chair, Jose.
Hello. Yes, I got called to action. They call me the backup Avenger for a reason, so here I am.
Let's see what's going on, Jose. Is Marco is not here, so we're running the show. We are running this week. We're doing this. We're getting it done. And the first thing I know, what Marco likes to do. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, like some guy used to be around here. So let's do.
Oh,
can you hear that?
There we go. Yes.
Okay. How's it sound? Is it too loud or?
No, sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. All right. So hopefully we'll be, wait. Did I? Okay. I didn't send a thing saying we were going live. Did you?
Uh-oh. I did not. Sorry, guys. First time learners here.
This is why
Send it
Marco
now.
doesn't leave it. Yeah, I'm going to do it now. This is why he doesn't let us run the show. All right, so let me.
For everyone who's already here, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you guys. We'll start going through the chat in just one moment. We just want to make sure everyone else is aware that the show is going on, and so they can come and join us, and we can, have more of a conversation with you guys. So,
all right, we got some people dropping in now, so they must have tuned in or got the notification because who are we to be doing our jobs or anything like that?
Oh yeah, guys, make sure you do have the bell on so you get that notification that we're on the air now. So I got it. It's on my phone. I got it.
I got it too.
Yeah.
So this way also, don't forget to like and subscribe while you're here.
And might as well do it now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're gonna like it. How could you not like it?
Yeah.
Right. No.
Yeah. I'm on. So it's like Ty's on. It's like Marco's not here. That's like a plus. Marco's not here, and then it's just us. So it's like the better side. So
exactly.
Might as well just go ahead, like it now. Are you doing it? I don't see you doing it. Just do it now.
Oh, Proxilla, yeah. I can control his chat. Okay. So let's see. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. I'm gonna do what I should have done before I started. But again, Jose, you've been here before, so you could tell everybody what we're all about here on this show.
Yeah, so with this show, we try to combine not only our love for collecting and everything pop culture, but also mental health awareness, right? Kind of checking in with each other, or the wellness check, as we like to check, say here on this show, making sure that, with this craziness of the collecting world, sometimes it can be challenging, right? And also all these aspects that we deal with through life and that include collecting, right? So that's kind of what we discuss on this show. We keep it light, but sometimes we get a little deep. It just depends on the situation, right? And how we're feeling. So, sometimes we touch on it a little bit more. Sometimes we touch on it a little less. But, it's always an important factor of the show.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing to remember is that this is a safe space. So, you're free to talk as much about as anything you want or not. We're not judging you. It's just a place for us to get together, hang out, and talk about the stuff we love. And, talk about each other. Like, well, not about each other like that, but just, you know, we want to know how you're doing. It's not just about the toys. It's about the collectors behind the toys.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So we got some people in the chat already. Why don't I take a look here? Because I have the controls. It's the first time. Just want to, you know, disclaimer. I have never hosted before. I'm hosting now. So if anything is a little wonky, a little off, blame Marco.
Yes. Blame Marco. And please send him an angry message and tell him, please, personally. And don't tell him I sent you, though. Just do it.
Yes, please. Okay, so we have the Sith Scale Collector. Have a great show, fellas. Yes. You have to catch it on the replay. By all means, enjoy your
Please
night.
Do.
Toy Mafia, what's up? ¿Qué pasa?
Deadpool. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo Deadpool 1998?
We got Brandon Salad. Hey, yo, fellas.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Thank you for popping in. The one and only Progzilla. I see it live on 16 Fix. I can control and show his chats. So
Awesome.
Yeah, he gave me the keys. I don't know. We'll see how wise that decision was, but you know, at the end, I guess. Let's see what else. Mark Pearson. Rando saw you guys because I'm on the toilet. Okay.
All right.
Have a great 3-day weekend. Have a great time on the toilet.
Yeah. Hope everything worked out for you.
Yeah. Please, Mark. Have a great time. Take your time. And then we've got Tyria. All right. You convinced me. Only because Marco's not here, I'm going to drop a like. Excellent. That's the spirit. That's the spirit.
Yes.
Let's
All right.
do it. And then we got, you know, oh, look at this guy. Jose.
Yes.
Welcome. Mark, he blames Polo. Like, I like Marco. Okay. Let's see. 2 a.m. already. Oh, my goodness. Oh,
no.
yeah, please. Have a
go
good
to
night.
sleep, man.
Yeah, have a good night.
Catch the replay. See us later.
And the one, the only SpongeBob SquareBalls. What's up, my friend? Thank you for joining us.
Hey, man. Hey, Classy. Good to see you in here, man.
And we've got Figurecraft in the house. Hey, fellas, how are we? Yes.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that, Philly.
Yes, we will get to that section. Should we wait for Ben to do that, or should we just? I mean, we. Can
I think it would.
Up.
Yeah, I think it would be nice if Ben is there because I'd like to check in with him. You know, a little wellness check on him and make sure he's all right. So yeah,
sure.
If we could, hopefully.
And this will be his first time, and this is like you know, we want to make sure we cover that stuff with him, so he gets in the flow there. He should be here. He's a little bit later. Okay, and now we got Keith Lee. Yes, he is. It's slowly but surely. Marco's turning into Jose. And let's see. All right, that looks like what we've got going on here. So, Jose, are you ready for our first topic, our first collecting topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Hopefully I can do it, you know, do what I'm supposed to do here. Okay, here we go. There it is.
Yeah.
This is the HONŌ Iron Man from HONŌ Studios. It's Hot Toys entry level figure line, supposedly. They just announced this guy this week. They just released the announcement about this guy. Did you know about this?
I did see it when was it announced? Last night or so. I saw you know, I tend not to when I see an Iron Man and I just kind of like whoop, like it's like it completely escapes my mind. It's just kind of like, oh, okay. I do like classic Iron Man design. It reminds me of the comics, obviously. You know, not that I grew up reading the comics, but I remember seeing him from the animated series, mainly Spider-Man when his brief appearance in Spider-Man, things like that. But I do like the aesthetically of, you know, these these characters that they're doing in these classic comic versions of these figures. It's pretty cool. Are they using what I'm interested in just by looking at this picture? It's like, man, he's got some chunky thighs there, man. Is that like a Feisten body? Like, what are they using here, man? Like, it doesn't look diecast.
No, I think when I was reading the description, it was saying that he has silicone. So I think his arms and legs may be silicone, like they're seamless. You know, you can see here. So I think they're going for a different little action with this guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Wait, let me get back to it here. So I have some other pictures here. So yeah, so that's all there is there. That's what kind of caught my eye when I saw it. It was like, oh, silicone, because I did not look like die-cast. But as you can see here, he's got magnetic activated LED, arc reactor, and repulsor palms. So he's got a cover for that, and I guess it activates, it turns them on when you take the cover off of them.
Interesting. Little innovation there, huh?
It is. I wonder why they picked this to to experiment. I mean, I guess, you know, if it fails, then it's not a big deal. It's not a major Iron Man figure, you know, although I don't know how much he's going to be going for. I did not find that out.
I'll check for you. Yeah. I'll check for you. Is he up on Sideshow already? He must be, no?
I don't know. Yeah, I grabbed this. I don't even know where I grabbed this from, to be honest with you now. But I grabbed the shots. I was just like, oh, Iron Man, I got to get this. And he's got interchangeable masks with 2 styles of display. So that would be and I gotta be honest, you know, I'm kind of dating myself a bit, but when I was growing up, this is what Iron Man looked like to me. You know, like the one in the front, like with the mask, this mask right here. That is when I think of Iron Man. Like when they announced they were going to be an Iron Man movie, this is what I pictured. And I was like, I don't think I'm all that interested in this, but you know, we'll see.
Okay, so I found out for you on Sideshow's website, listed as 215. HONŌ Studios Iron Man.
Okay.
215.
That's not bad. Especially for an Iron Man. That's like half the cost of, you know, a regular Iron Man. Because I figured he was going to be just plastic. But
P-Rock got it. He checked it before me. You beat me, P-Rock. I see you. 215. There it is.
Nice. Let's see.
Yes.
Thank you, P-Rock. Let me just take a second to say hello to Collector Joey. Hello, hello. And 14 Wellington.
Ooh, 14. What's up, man?
If you know the actual person's name, feel free to jump in and say that, because I don't know a lot of people. And well, I know people, but I have trouble with names. It's the ADHD. I have trouble with.
No, I got you. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's some that, oh my god, I call them by their like username so much that I'm like, well, what's their real name? I'm not gonna lie, dude. That happens to me a lot. I'm like, what's their real name? And actually, that's something. Even growing up, when I was in high school, we had like, you know, our group of friends or whatever. Then everyone had like a nickname, and you know, eventually it'd be like, I'd ask somebody, it was like, what's his real name? And people like, then they would tell you like the most random thing. He's like, oh, it's George. George? He doesn't look like a George. That's Sleepy right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna stay with the nickname. I'm not gonna worry about George. George, you're not a George. You're Sleepy. That's where we're going.
Exactly.
Okay, One Adam 12. Hello. He says this looks like a better sculpt 1/6 scale version of my old 1980s Secret Wars Iron figure. Now, is that a good thing? He says it's a better sculpt, so I'll take it as a yes.
I think so.
And let's see, this figure is amazing. I love the look and the metallic. I gotta say, at first I was like, oh, come on, HONŌ's doing an Iron Man, but I'm kind of digging him, you know? I'm
Is it
kinda
because they
digging it.
told you that price? They were like, hey,
That's really that.
215?
Yeah, that made me a lot more interested because I don't have an Iron Man figure anymore. You know, I want to get the Mark 6, but I wouldn't mind having this as like a throwback type of Iron Man in the collection either, because it's like one of those. All right, he's 215. That's not bad. I could live with that. You know, like $450. I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough. But 215, and then like maybe you get some sideshow rewards and points and things like that. You can bring it down even more.
Bingo. Like I think this is a great example of entry level, like what HONŌ is supposed to be. I think that now that I'm looking at it, I mean, look at this. You can even see his eyes back there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks good. Like, he looks metallic.
Yeah. It's cool too. Like if you're building like your comic inspired line, there's a lot of, even if you had some of those third party like the So Gambit and Rogue and now there's even the X-Men, you have the Wolverine, and I know some people have like the Cyclops from Sideshow, like the old Sideshow versions, and now HONŌ's coming in, and you got the Spider-Man, and now they're doing Iron Man. So I mean, it's cool. Like I see someone dedicating a whole shelf to classic Marvel characters like that.
I mean, think about it. With this guy and like the Wolverine, you've got two figures for like the price of one Iron Man already. You know, one of the normal like MCU Iron Man figures. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Action Figure Academy. Hello. And we're getting a lot of questions about this. I love it.
Love you too, Philly. Love you too. I'm his stunt double. He's busy right now.
Yeah, you know.
Throw me in there.
Yeah, we needed someone in a pinch. Hey, let's get alternate universe Marco in here.
Yeah, I'm a
I like
variant.
this. Yeah. This looks like, a comic book photo.
Yeah, absolutely. Like straight out of the comic book.
Yeah, like this is what my memory as a kid, and when I used to draw, and if I drew Iron Man, this is what he would look like. With the little round, frisbees on the side. This is Iron Man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the new suits and everything, but yeah, this is Iron Man.
Yeah, I do. I am curious how that magnetic thing with the lighting is gonna work. Like, I'm so curious about it now. Like, how they're gonna make that work. And like they take, like you said, like for them to take the risk on the HONŌ one, maybe because it's like less complaints because it's not going to be such an expensive figure. So if it doesn't work, the innovation, it's like if it backfires, they're like, well, you didn't spend like $450 for it. It was $200.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing it's like, okay, you're testing it out on a lower price figure, but there had to be some engineering going on here. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm betting we will see this on some other figures, like probably the MCU Iron Man figures in the future. They got to be testing something out. My main question though is, yeah, you can do this where you're covering it up and it's lighting up and turning itself off, hopefully. But are you still using those cheesy batteries that last for like 15 minutes?
Well, I don't know, because if it's so cheap, and are they actually gonna do the whole wired LED? Like,
No.
Like, I don't think so. So it's like, but it's like they're gonna go back to the. So it's like they're moving forward, but also like backwards. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like this. He seems to be some sort of test. But because like the fact of using magnets to turn something off and on like as a switch is not new. It's not that expensive. I mean, to work it into a figure, you have to engineer that, but it's like I see cosplay people do that all the time with like their Iron Man masks or something like that, or some other piece of their costumes where you close your hand and it'll like light up, or open your hand and the magnet, when it comes apart, that triggers the switch. So it's not that expensive, but for a 6 scale figure, you got to do some thinking. And I mean, where do the batteries go? Like, do you take his whole like hand and something, like, where are they? I don't know.
I feel like
that
I'm not sure, but maybe right there where that chest right here on the side here, like you take off the chest armor, like maybe it comes, and then maybe you put the batteries in there somewhere. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Okay. That's okay. I can see that. Like, this is like classic Marvel Comics pose right here. Like, he looks good there. He definitely looks good. Figurecraft says, I'm curious to see what kind of seal they use for the silicone. For longevity would be a good question. That's a very, very good point. It seems like they're definitely leaning towards that silicone thing with the medical grade, and I only time will tell, really. But then it depends on how the person took care, what kind of environment they were in. So it's a wait and see. We'll see. We'll find out, I guess. And like, this definitely comic book inspired. And like, you can't get this with like an MCU Iron Man, I don't think. Like, this kind of pose with his legs bent like that. You're not getting that action. Let's see. Are the batteries baked in? Very good question, 14. And I wonder the same thing. I want to see, where the hell are the screws? There's screws. I mean, they're not afraid to put screws on the bottom of the feet of some of their figures, like the armorer.
The armorer.
Looking at you, armorer. Yeah, I sent my first armorer back because she had screws in her feet.
You sent her back?
I sent the first one I bought back because she had screws in her feet. And
did they fix that? I never looked into that. No?
Nope. Because my feeling was, if I'm paying like $240 for something, I don't want to see the screws in her feet. Like, what is the point? Why does she have screws in her feet and the other ones you don't see it? It's just a weird thing, I guess, that kind of stuck in my head. I did rebuy her though. I used some points and got her real cheap.
Okay.
But she still got screws in her feet. I thought these HONŌ figures were supposed to be under 200. They'll be Hot Toys prices by next year. Don't fall for the okie doke. Action Figure Academy, that is something we did speak about on one of the earlier episodes of this show, because that was my fear. Like, if they're entry level, aren't they supposed to be under $200? Like, that's what they had said. Like, that's what this line was going to be. But then someone else brought up, like, that's just like the drug dealer type deal where they give you a little taste with that HONŌ Wolverine. They give you that little taste first and see if you like it. Once you get hooked, now the next one's going to be a little bit more, then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. So like, here he goes. He's 215, and we're moving on up. Because who's next? I think I heard Thor might be next.
I mean, he should be, because didn't they tease him a long time ago? Like, that he was like next. I remember seeing something like that.
I have.
They shown a prototype too. I think they did show a prototype in the most recent ones where they showed all those prototypes. I think they might have.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they might have.
I gotta say, this looks pretty badass here. I mean, you're not getting a lot with him though for 215. Yeah, so they're stretching it a little bit here. You're getting.
I mean, the base. I mean, the whole. I mean, they're upselling for the base, for that magnetic innovation thing they're doing, for whatever silicone body they're using. Like, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah. And you're getting the alternate mask and two hands, and the base and the figure. I think he should be like 180. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I mean, 215's okay. I'm okay with it, but I think maybe I'm part of the problem if I'm willing to accept it. So
that drug dealer metaphor you used is true. You know?
Not that
It's
I've
like,
ever been a drug dealer, mind you.
no,
Not
no,
that I've
no,
ever
no.
done that. I've never done that. But Jose, I think you are onto something though. Sideshow points, rewards. Use that, bring him down under. Then he's more palatable. I think.
I think so
I'm-
too.
I
Yeah.
think I'll go with that. I think you're onto something there. So okay. Do we have any other pictures? Oh wait, there we go. He looks good though.
He does.
I gotta say.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't really dive deep into it when I saw the photos, but now that I'm here with you and I'm looking at them, I'm like, that's cool, man. That's really cool.
Yeah. I was actually looking forward to talking about it. The funniest thing is when Marco sent me that thumbnail with the altered face, the AI face that he did. He was like, I had to do something. This is just a boring figure. Yeah. I was like, oh man. The first time I like one of these, he's like, it's boring. But I mean, I can see where he gets that from because it's not much to him. You know?
Yeah, he doesn't have all these crazy accessories or this crazy base or like something that screams like, hey, attention.
Question for you, Jose. Do you use all the accessories that come with some of these figures?
Hell no. No. There's too much sometimes. It's like, I totally get, like, for the price you pay for these things, you should get more accessories. But you barely even use them, though. I mean, I don't. I mean, sometimes you get creative with them, and you might want to switch, the pose that you have, and thus now he's holding, like the Batman, now he's holding, the Batarang, or he's holding this, or he's holding, you know what I mean? Like, so you get creative with the accessories that you have. And that's always helpful when you have more accessories. But I don't know. I'd rather, and I think Marco might agree with this, I'd rather they invest on really cool diorama bases that you can use and that look like environmental bases, not like, like that actually, create more realism for your figures. If they decided to do that, I think that might be better than just sending you like a bunch of like plastic accessories that you just keep in the box anyways. But I like when they give you a lot of accessories when the price tag is high, and thus you feel like you have more value for your buck, right? So you're paying a lot, but at least you're getting all these accessories, so
yeah. You feel like you're getting a ton of stuff. And I readily admit I've been one to say, hey, I want my money's worth. Like I want all this stuff. Give me all this stuff. And then I get it. And I'm like, I'm not going to use all this stuff. It's like, it's almost overwhelming sometimes. It's like, well, look at all this crap. I'm not going to where am I put it? And so it's sort of like you want it and then you get it. They give you what you want. And you're like, I don't really want that. So it's, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the first thing I think of is like the InArt Batman, or even the Hot Toys Batman. It comes with all of those like paper accessories and all that, and it's just like, man, maybe if you took out all that shit, maybe you could like give me, it'd be like $20-$30 less because you spent all that time printing out that little piece of paper with all that little writing on it. Like maybe you give me a little bit less of that shit and then make it cheaper for me. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like if. For example, I have the the So-So Toys, the Gambit that they did, and he has all the playing cards. And I have never posed him with that. One, because his wrist pegs, were just hell on earth. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave his hands where they are. And his accessories are like in a bag somewhere. Yeah. Looking at the chat briefly here, we got our friend Joel, Big Bretta.
Hey, Joel.
Jose as a backup. It's a smart move. All right.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that.
Brenton is here. Hello. I don't know if I always look at when Bretta does something in the chat, like, is he about to, is he just trolling?
No, he's not trolling. He's just being himself. You know what I mean?
I guess I should say not really trolling, but I'm waiting for him to say something, like to really start coming at
like
you.
out of pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. All right, there's Ben. He'll be here soon. All right, Ben. See you when you get here. Looking forward to it. So should we go to our next figure?
Yeah, we'll go in the next one, and hopefully Ben's here by the maybe by the end of it, then we'll do the wellness check.
Exactly. So let's see, what do we have? 1 second. Oh, I know what I need to do. I see you jamming there, Jose.
Mm-hmm. Reminds me like being at the arcade, you know?
Yes. All right, let's see.
Ooh. Joel, you're gonna like this one.
Yeah, this is where's my page? I have my page. There he is. Okay. And Mr. Ice. Can I get a close? Oh, no, I don't want that.
Just click on it again. Oh no, it's just making you. You can just.
Oh wait.
Oh, right there. There you go.
There we go. There we go. Okay, that's still too big, but that's all right. It's feast or famine here, but it looks. I gotta say, I'm digging the slippers.
Yeah, I mean, it's at least movie accurate, right? He does wear them in the movie, from what I remember.
Bro, I have no idea. Like I've seen that movie. Like, here we go. One time. And that was enough for me. I know there's some people that's going to accuse me of hating, but so be it. I don't like that movie.
I mean, this movie doesn't have a lot of defenders, you know?
No, it does have some.
I know. It does. There's some for sure, but not a lot. It's the one that has like the least.
Okay. Okay. So we know how Big Bretta feels about it.
Sure.
Oh, Action Figure Academy. Oh, okay. You like it, Mr. Ice? I think the head sculpt looks pretty good.
It is definitely the better head sculpt. I know there was that one. I forgot what company did that one. There was the one with the armor. The head sculpt wasn't as strong, but at least since he comes with like the helmet and all that, like it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
because but with this one, it's just the Arnold head sculpt in the robe. So not for me. I mean, if I was gonna buy a Mr. Freeze, it would be hopefully licensed, and it would be really good Arnold likeness and
good
things
luck
like
with
that. But I mean, you never know. Jazz Inc. might do it. They've been talking about doing it, so we'll see. So you know what's like the thing with So, and you mentioned it when you were talking about your Gambit, like the wrist pegs and all that. Like I've always had issues with their figures, and I've had like some of the older X-Men figures that they had.
Okay.
And it was always like always issues with them. So I don't know. Like I don't necessarily love So either, even though they tend to be one of the better third parties. But
I gotta say, like the worst figure, and I'm saying worst, but he's really not bad. It's just the Gambit with the wrist pegs. Like other than that, he's a great figure. But my experience with them, aside from him, is really good. Like the Homelander, he doesn't have the greatest of head sculpts, but the body and everything, like he stands up. He doesn't need a base to stand. Like he is very solid. The Butcher is another good one.
Oh yeah.
Invincible is good, and so I am very happy with the So figures that I do have. I can't speak to the earlier ones, but they're definitely one of the top third parties on last. I just want to say too that Brenton, I see what you're doing here. Maybe the page is frozen. I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing. And saw the movie once and put it on ice.
Nice.
I like it. I want you to know I see you, and I'm liking it. And Bretta. He might not be on the show, but he's still a part of the show. Like He's got it. This is what I wanted. I wanted the Bretta comments. It's live on 3 channels. I don't know where I am. Action figure. Hey, isn't this Michael Elliott?
I don't know. Let us know.
Mike, isn't this you? I'm terrible with names, but yeah. I've got several So-So figures and love them all. There you go. Yeah.
They did improve later. I haven't bought from them since probably, when did I buy because I never bought any of those Invincible figures. I didn't buy the Gambit or the Rogue. Like the ones that I had were like when they were doing like the X-Men film ones, you know.
Those
Those ones
before my time. Okay.
Yeah, so
Am I on channel? Am I on 16 Fix? Am I on Collecting Weekly? Or am I on?
it is a little strange though. When I type a comment though, it like appears 3 times for me. I don't know why. Is it because I'm going to all 3?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe. I know when I do it, it should. I mean, I can see it all. Hey, Feezy. What's up?
What's up, man?
Oh, there he is. I was waiting for him. There you are, 12-inch. How are you, sir? Like, how many figures did you get this week?
I don't even want to take that bet, man. You know, too many. That's probably the answer.
Okay, it is, Michael. Okay, I thought so. I'm bad with please, I apologize. I'm bad with names, but yeah, I thought so. I forgot the Prince figure. I have him too. Awesome.
Oh
figure.
yeah. I do hear he's underscale or overscaled. I'm not sure. One of those, right? Like he's not.
Really?
His scaling's not perfect. I don't know.
I don't know. Like he seems okay. I mean, I kind of have him by himself. I just rearranged some things. I know Joel will probably hate this, but he's on a shelf with Michael Jackson right now. You know, they're goats. So, I put them together. But I don't know. Like he seems okay. I mean, Prince was tiny anyway. That's why he wore those heels.
I think that might be it. Then he's overscaled because if he's a shorter guy, I think they were saying that when you pair him next to other 6-scale figures, he's a little on the taller side, which he shouldn't.
Okay, that makes sense because I haven't really put him next to anyone. I'll have to see about that because even though he's on the shelf with Michael, they're not right next to each other. So like because he's got this whole big stage base that he's standing on. So yeah, I'll check that. That's it. But that would probably be it because he was a tiny man. I'm betting he was probably like 5'2" or 3. And he wore like 4-inch heels or something.
I was watching this video where Chris Rock was interviewing him and they're asking him about the rivalry with Michael Jackson. You ever seen that before?
Wait, say that again?
That I was watching this video that Chris Rock was interviewing Prince and he asked him about Michael Jackson and if there was like a rivalry there.
Oh, maybe.
You ever seen that before?
That sounds familiar.
Well, in the clip that I watched, it was really funny because he was talking about, like, is there a rivalry there? And he's like, oh, no, it is what it is, and he's like, oh, was because I heard that you, like Chris Rock is telling him, I heard you were going to be in the Bad music video. And he was like, oh, well, yeah. You remember that the Wesley Snipes character in that video? Do you remember it, Ty?
Yeah.
He's like, well, that was going to be me. And he's like, I had a little issue with some of the things that were being like with that character. And like one of the first things that Michael's character says to him. And I mean, do you remember the first line of Bad?
Yeah.
You remember it or not?
I do, but if you ask me to recite it, I'm not going to be able to. But like,
so he says, your butt is mine.
Yes. Okay.
So he's like, so Prince is like, oh, he's like, wait a minute. Who's going to sing who to who? Like, who's going to sing that to who? Because you most certainly are not going to sing that to me. And he's like,
yep.
and I'm not gonna sing that to you. So fundamentally, we had a problem about that.
Oh man, that's fantastic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that line that always got me too. Yeah, because that really is that how you want to start a song? Your butt is mine. Like
That's how the song goes.
I but like if you're being a tough guy, hey Jose, your butt is mine. Yeah, no. I mean, there's a time and a place for that. I think.
Sure.
And that's not the time. Well, I'm about to get into some kind of street fight. That's not the time. Let's see. Let's check on the chat. Oh, yes, your message is going to all channels. Bad Fish. Do you know who Bad Fish is?
I do. Yeah, he appears on Collecting Weekly. I've seen him.
Okay. He'll have to catch what he's missed. All right. Very, very good. This guy, I'm living vicariously through him now.
15 in one day, or what, Moose? Because
like this,
I mean, I
week,
believe it.
This man's awesome. And Mike says Prince is actually too tall. So okay, there we have it. I knew we'd get an answer, and that makes sense. It's not like they could actually measure him. They're just going by what they see, and with the heels and whatnot. Yeah, I can see that.
And the scaling is so off and different than it was before, right? So like, even if you compare like figures from like 2015, 2016, and then you try to like pair them up with figures that are releasing today, like some of them are like the scaling's not perfect because they're like, it seems like Hot Toys is upscaling a little bit more, right? Their figures are getting a little bit taller with the newer releases. And so now, like, if you pair it up with an older figure, it doesn't match as well. So scaling can be off,
I wonder if it's because of the bodies. They're changing the bodies a lot, and maybe that's why.
Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely a factor.
Feezy says one of the downsides of multi-channel streaming. Yeah, I've run into that when I've been on the other side, just as a panelist. I can't see everybody's chat. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. They should fix this. How do you say this? Dogito? Okay.
Dogito, like taquito, pero Dogito.
Dogito. You have to watch Kevin Smith's story about meeting Prince and going to his house. That sounds like something.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Says the link is wrong. Uh-oh. Let's see if we can fix that.
Well, in the meantime,
yes.
In regards to this Mr. Ice, or Mr. Freeze, actually. Yeah,
because we forgot.
The reason we're showing, the reason we're showing them is because So announced they put on their social media that Mr. Ice is getting ready to ship. So a lot of you guys are just, if you ordered him from your favorite third-party website, you will be receiving an invoice that Mr. Ice is on its way. So it's coming to your collection. So if you did order him, be ready for that invoice.
Ooh.
Oh, see, he says we pronounced it pretty well. All right.
Nice. Yeah, see, this is an example of why Marco doesn't let us take over too often, because I was looking at the Mr. Ice, the Mr. Freeze, and I'm like, okay, we're talking about other things. Look at here. Look who we have. There he is. The man, the
time
myth,
to get nutty.
The legend. Let's get nuts.
Better late than never, right?
Whoa.
Hey.
You seem out of breath, man.
Hell
You
yeah.
ran over here or what?
Good to see you guys.
You okay?
How are you?
I legit ran. So
Oh
yeah.
man, you're running for us,
Good.
man.
I'm
We're not
hearing
that
double of
special.
myself. I don't know if that's
You're hearing double?
if that's the case. So give me 1 second.
Okay.
I was here's why. 1 second. Can I hear you?
Mhm.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, I can hear you guys now. Sorry, I was playing through my headset. I was watching you guys in the car as I was like racing through traffic. I'm like, I'm gonna get pulled over. This is fucking wild. So,
No,
but
man, no.
I apologize. I committed to this stream, everybody, like a week ago, and then this afternoon, my boss is like, "So you know, this is Daryl's last day, right? And we're taking him out for a beer after work." And I was like, Daryl's been with us. He's so I'm our director of sales. He's been in my sales department for 7 years, and I was like, shit. So apologize for being late. Couldn't miss
No
it.
worries,
but,
man.
happy to be here with you boys. So
Yeah,
but
very
I've been able to
happy to
catch
have
up.
you.
I've been able to catch up with everything you guys have been talking about. As I said, as I raced across town. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Well, I
Sounds
feel
good.
special, man. I feel that it's special
Yeah.
that you ran over here to be with us, man.
Yeah. I
oh
was
man,
right here.
I feel bad. You guys have helped me on streams before. I'm like, I can't not show up, right? Like, so it's the worst. It's a horrible guest. Horrible.
He's probably like, you know, I got to get over here and save these guys. They're just running.
No, you guys
running
are killing
crazy.
I forgot you were streaming in 3 different places though. So when I first joined, I was like, oh man, like they don't have any people watching yet. So I started like spamming my Instagram. But then I realized you guys got like it's a divided audience right now. So good to see everybody out there in the chat. So
That's Marco. He did that. Like I've got the controls, but he had everything set up. So yeah. So
Blame Marco.
Ben, I guess you heard us. We were talking about Mr. Ice, and we really deviated into like So Toys, you know, past and present. How tall was Prince? You know, why did Michael start that song with "Your Butt Is Mine"? So we kind of really got away from what's up on the screen right now.
right.
Do you have any opinions on this So Toys figure?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've really liked So Toys. I think that they've been one of the best third-party contenders for a while. I think my first one was the Scarlet Speedster, which if you go back to my YouTube channel, it was actually the very first unboxing and review I ever did on the Ben Thomas Show, and that was the So Toys Scarlet Speedster. Now, that figure had a couple of its own problems, but overall, like I actually think it looked better, like more like Grant Gustin than the actual Hot Toys representation of that character. So that was pretty good. In terms of this is by far, at least as of this prototype, or is this isn't a final release yet, right? This is still showing.
No, this is prototype. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as far as this proto goes, I think that definitely looks like Arnie in there. And honestly, with the tease recently, with the new Clooney Batman and Robin, right? I think this figure actually may end up being a lot more attractive for people's collections if those figures come to fruition, of course. Because who doesn't want a Mr. Ice in the collection, making all those ice puns? And the only other version I've seen, I think, was another third party, and I can't remember which one it was done by. Eddie's got it, because he's a huge fan of these as well. And he liked it for what it was, but it by far wasn't the best representation. I was still kind of holding out hope that Hot Toys might give us one of these at some point, because I think like with the exosuit and all the glowing blue and everything, as a piece in the collection, it could definitely stand out. But if that never comes to fruition, I think this will be a great stand-in for that rogues gallery from that Batman and Robin film. So it's cute. It's got some good elements in it. This was actually a pretty memorable scene when he's teaching his guys how to sing the song, I'm Mr. I'm not gonna sing it for you guys, but it's a memorable scene. So I think this is a pretty sweet release, honestly, or announcement, I should say, a pre-order. So I haven't bought in yet, but I'm definitely interested.
Yeah. Well, So announced that they are getting ready to ship this out. So people that have on order, it's coming already. So
there you go. Yeah. Hell yeah. I like the ice chair. That's awesome.
It is cool. Yeah, chairs
I'm
are always cool.
These slippers,
the stogie and the slippers. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, honestly. And if anything, it's the likeness that I've actually think has been nailed, right? Like outfits you can find, you can kind of make them yourself, you can piece them together, but if the likeness just isn't there, it just doesn't represent the soul of the character. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good head sculpt, and the slippers, I'm sold on that. I mean, I'm not a fan of this movie, but I think this is a good job that they did.
Well, and for its time, I mean, like I think probably 10 or 11 when this movie came out, so it was in the sweet spot for me for silliness, but also like nostalgia, right? And I always still had a thing for Poison Ivy. I mean, who doesn't? I thought Bane, while he was like a mindless zombie basically in that movie, was still a cool character at the time, and I would love to see him in a display at some point as well. So, I mean, even though the film doesn't necessarily hold up as a critically amazing film, there's a lot of like good nostalgia in there, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
How old were you? Did you say how old?
I'm an 87 baby. So what year was
Oh
this
my
movie?
God.
Oh,
It's 1997, I believe. Batman and Robin.
87. So yeah, 10. Yeah, 10 years old.
I was graduating high school in 87. Oh my God, dude.
Well, thank you for making me feel young again.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna move on now.
I'm out.
Anyway.
You're kicked out. You're not
All
invited
right,
back.
that's it
Screw
for.
this guy.
that's
You have
it
the
for Ben.
controls, right? Ty,
Yeah.
you have the controls. How do you take someone
Yeah.
out? How do you do that?
Can I do that?
There we go. Whoa!
There we go. That's enough of Ben. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. The PJs are fire. I agree.
Yes.
Okay, this I don't know. Maybe this was a collecting weekly thing. Weren't you guys just talking about wanting this last week?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Not me.
Not specifically.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this, as far as I recall.
We've talked about it on Collecting Weekly before, but not recently. I think when the pre-order like first went up.
Okay.
And I think at least on that team, I think only Eddie and I were actually interested because the other boys make fun of us for our affection for these films.
Still a babe, Ben. Still a babe.
Ooh, all right, all right.
Like
Skincare routine.
I tell you, I do not like that is one movie, the Batman and Robin. I do not watch that. Like I saw it once and that was it for me.
Oh yeah.
I
Not
put
gonna
on
lie.
a clip
Not
the other
really.
day on YouTube. You know, like Fandango clips or whatever, the movie clips that you see. I put on a clip of Batman and Robin because I'm like, I'm not gonna watch the whole movie, but I was like, I put it on because I wanted to see Batgirl, and like I think they were talking about Batgirl. I think Eddie had it on GeoStream as like a figure fantasy, so a figure that he'd like made. He had like the Clooney Batman, like the final suit's the one with the silver accents and the blue. And I was like, wait, does Batgirl wear two outfits or one outfit in that movie? I couldn't remember. And she does. She wears the all black one, and then she wears another outfit that has the silver accents as well. And then she also gets a cowl when she's riding the motorcycle. She wears like a bat cowl. I didn't even remember that.
It's funny that you mentioned those two versions too, because when Hot Toys kind of teased their, very basic prototypes of the Clooney Batman, I was happy to see that it wasn't the ice converted suit like the silver and the black one. Unlike what they did with Kilmer's Batman, where I think most of us would have rathered the Black Panther suit.
Yes.
I think you called it the Panther suit. Black Panther. Definitely not the Black Panther, but you know what I'm saying.
That'd have been
But
very interesting.
they gave us the sonar suit instead, which I was like, it's still a cool suit, but I still prefer that black
Yeah.
look, so.
Like I just watched the intro to that movie the other day, and I'm like, I wish the Kilmer Batman had that suit. Like
It'd be cool.
Yeah,
It would have nipples, but
I'll get you out.
I'll get
not
drive through.
nipples.
The bat signal is not a beeper.
You got it. It's supposed to be cold, sir.
Trying to get under my
Same
cape.
movie.
Doctor.
That's right.
So Ben, I know you were listening along as we were going. Any thoughts on that HONŌ Iron Man?
Yeah, I mean, I had so many thoughts on it, right? Because, my initial thought was this or that. And I made a pretty quick video on it because it was like, exactly like this or that. I mean, that limited edition version had just come out from Hot Toys, sold out pretty darn quickly. But people have really kind of, within only the last 6 months, just got that in their collections. And with that being a die-cast piece, that was a pretty pricey boy. And it had all the extra seams and joint lines and everything. And for a lot of folks, they're like, that's fine with me. I don't care. For me, as much as I like joints in real life, I don't like joints on my figure. And I always find that truly breaks the immersion for me when I look at a character in my display. Like, I want that feeling of, it being kind of a person in a suit. And while this is absolutely a pull from the comic books, so it's not really like a person in a suit that we've seen on screen, from its interpretation of the comics, this is like absolutely freaking nailed it. Color scheme, the yellow lighting, the shape of the mask, the proportions of the body, all of it I think is really, really good. Even with the likeness, kind of the Tony Stark eyes and behind there, to me that eliminates the need for me to feel like I needed the Tony Stark sculpt, especially since then you can also fit this in with your more movie realistic versions of your characters if you want. Whereas that animated sculpt on the other version, the Hot Toys one, maybe breaks that immersion a little bit as well. You might even need a separate display or put them more with like your Mondo or HONŌ, other HONŌ figures, right? So I honestly think, unless you're a die-cast Iron Man collector, if that's the route you prefer to go, when I compared these side by side, I actually think this version looks like a more premium offering than the Hot Toys at still a significantly cheaper price point. Now, I know the price point's been kind of a point of contention for people because they're like, ah, we knew that 165 wasn't going to stay that way. But I think most of us did know that. And I think the only reason we feel a little salty about it is because we're feeling like our gut check on that is being proven right. But when I look at $215, I still think you get a lot here for that. This is the first time we're seeing that magnetic light up display piece thing. Like, that's a really unique new design. I've heard that like there's quite a bit of cost of wiring those figures to get them to be kind of capable that way. But then again, the seamless look as well, the accurate comic book representation. I think this is great for $215. It would not surprise me if the next HONŌ release though goes back down to that 175-ish range for something that's maybe a little bit more of a standard character in a suit as opposed
like Thor.
to yeah, like a Thor, right? Or any of those types of characters. You know, maybe we'll get like a, you know, comic-inspired Moon Knight or something along those lines. I'd also still really love to see what they could do with a Hulk. I think that could be really cool, especially with their seamless approach, right? And so I don't feel like I want to rag on them for the price point quite yet. If anything, it's a bit of a wait and see. If the price point was justified because of the light-up system, then I'll give them a pass if they keep it kind of otherwise under that price point. Because I look at my X06 figures, I look at my Mondo figures, they're all more expensive than this offering still. And to be honest, some of those look more like toys than even this it does, in my opinion. This looks more premium. And this is still coming in cheaper than a lot of those offerings. So overall, I still think as of right now, they've met their benchmark of being entry level. But they better not cross that threshold too much more, or else they will piss people off, and it will no longer be what they set out to be. Last thought, though, I honestly do think that Hot Toys should just pass the torch to these folks at this point for the comic-inspired, like, Marvel lineup. Like, don't both do it at the same time. It's double dipping your pen, and it's going to piss people off if you buy a figure like other folks have with this other classic Iron Man that was offered, and then this version comes out. It starts to be like, as collectors, we want to collect, of course, but I don't necessarily want to buy the same character over and over again. I want to buy the best representations of those characters. And if they're going to nail their comic book line, let HONŌ have it. Especially if they're a division of Hot Toys anyways. Don't double dip your pen.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point about the double dipping. Because, yeah, like HONŌ, let them stick to the comic book stuff, representations, and Hot Toys, you do your other thing. You know, as to what you were saying about like the lighting, you know, my thing again is yeah, I don't know how they wired this up. I mean, he doesn't have any stuff down below, so it's really in the torso. So it definitely takes some engineering to do that. As long as the batteries, you know, last a decent amount of time, then okay, you know, that can justify the extra engineering they put into this. But you know, again, it's going to be one of those wait and sees. I think.
If I had a biggest worry point here, I would say it's the paint application, the metallic paint over the seamless body. I work in the paint industry, and paint is not meant to necessarily be all that flexible. So I would be worried that over time, the constant movement will cause like paint failure and cracking. Not even necessarily of the seamless body itself, but the actual paint job.
Yeah.
So that would kind of suck. DeGuito says a classic comic Doctor Doom would be timely. 100%. Totally agree. They should get ahead of that while they can. Also, Action Figure Academy, I see you in there saying
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
Prices.
I was about to bring that up for you, Ben. I saw it.
But hey, you know what? And fair point. I don't want to pay more. Don't get me wrong. But I also want to see where the dollars go. And that's why I say if the lighting and all of this extra coolness in this figure is part of that $215, then I'd be willing to give it a pass, as long as the next one that looks like a Thor in a standard outfit isn't now also $250 and then $230 and then $245. I say Hot Toys has price conditioned us for years. There was a time where $285 for a Hot Toys figure was laughable. We would get we'd have heated streams about that. And now $285 is the standard price, and we're like, oh, that's not too bad. They've found a way to condition us, and I don't want HONŌ to condition us. So while I totally agree, don't rationalize too much, I'm willing to give them a pass, but I'll definitely call them out if I start to feel like they're conditioning us up the chain even further.
Here's a quick question. Is Hot Toys just telling us J&D is really overcharging for silicone?
Maybe.
We'll see.
I think J&D is just really overcharging us, is what I think. Like they just the line was drawn with that damn Harry Potter figure. I'm done. Like, come on.
And honestly, anybody named Badfish has to pay at least 30% more anyways. They just got a target on that, so just put it out there.
All right, so I think we've gotten you caught up. I think now it is time for us to have our segment that makes us, a little bit different from everybody else. Ben, this will be your first time. Let's check it out.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, please.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
How you doing?
So this is our wellness check-in, basically, Ben. If there's something, we talk about, hey, how was your week? You can say as much or as little as you choose. There's no judging here. This is all a safe space. So, if you'd like to say something, we know you ran here.
I'm
so
coming apart at the seams, boys. It's all over.
So, as our guest, your first time here, we will allow you to go first. And Jose, you'll be up.
So honestly, I have to say I'm a little disappointed in Marco for not being here on my first time on.
We
the
all
stream.
are.
But I'm happy to see how good you guys are. No, you know what? Honestly, so summer, like I said earlier, I'm in the painting industry and I run a team of some wonderful people. I'm really, really fortunate for the folks that I crew chief. But honestly, like the summertime is the craziest time of the year for me. So between trying to get all my work done, trying to get videos on stream, trying to date, trying to go to the gym, all of the things, like I am extremely spread thin. So I've had some comments from friends and family lately that have said, Ben, we message you and you don't read my message, or you never get back to us, or like, I left you a message and it's been 3 weeks since you've opened it, and all of the things.
Whoa.
To anybody out there, I apologize. If you have reached out to me for, awesome nerdy questions or collecting stuff, or honestly just check-ins, and I, for some reason, haven't got back to you either very quickly or very timely, I love you guys. It's not personal. It's just a crazy time of year. I am so excited for like September, October to hit, when I can actually decompress a little bit again, feel like myself again, and reconnect with my friends. But in the meantime, I literally just started a new fitness training program 3 weeks ago. And so I've been going in 5 times a week, doing upper and lower day, arms and weak points on Saturdays. And eating clean, I've cut out all sugar, which has been harder than I thought because I really like chocolate nuts, honestly. Can't have those anymore. I was starting to look like a chocolate nut, you know what I'm saying? And so can't do that anymore. But in the last 3 weeks already, I've seen like some great definition growth and feeling healthier, feeling mentally stronger and everything. So if anybody wants to ever talk to me about fitness, if I get back to you, of course, please do. I like talking about that just as much as collecting lately, because I'm starting to nerd out kind of on the science of exercise, which has also been really, really fun. So But otherwise, I'm good. The how you doing segment for me, I feel okay. I just, as I said, got to get back to trying to be a bit better of a friend for the people who care. So.
Awesome.
That's good to hear. Yeah, it's good to hear, man. And it's, you know, sometimes we get caught up on all these things that we're doing that sometimes we don't have the time to slow down, but we have to remind ourselves sometimes that we do. You know, like, hey, let's slow down, and got all these things right in our head that we're going through, that we're dealing with, like you're saying, work and the fitness and all these things that you're trying to do and juggle all at once, plus the YouTube channel and collecting and all that. And so it's like, I totally get where you're coming from. It can be very stressful, and I can feel that way too. Sometimes this past week too, there was a day where I was just like, I full on was busy, like from the morning as soon as I got up till at night. You know what I mean? It's just I couldn't really do anything, and I'm like, oh man, and I don't want to leave anybody hanging like that. I feel bad too. Is like someone reaches out to me and like asks me something, and it's just like I don't want to be like, oh, it's 2-3 hours later and I still haven't responded to them. You know? But then sometimes you don't want to answer it because you're like, I won't be able to give you like a full answer if I answer it now, you know, while I'm driving. Yeah. So I have 100%. To wait so I can give you like a full answer, because then I don't want you to feel like you reached out to me and I just gave you an you know, like, or okay,
or a thumbs
you know
up.
What I mean?
I use the nut emoji a lot, but I don't know if people read into that in a good way or not. It's hard to say. So.
But no, that's, you know, lately I've been kind of the same a little bit, you know, feeling like I'm a little overwhelmed, got a lot of things going on, but I like it better than the days where I'm kind of like, oh man, I got nothing going on, you know, because sometimes that could be a little stressful too, you know, where you're like, oh man, like, what do I do with myself today? You know, it's just like, can't even find anything to do. And it's just like, I already watched every live stream there is. Like, what can I do now? You know what I mean?
Honestly, so I've gone back to gaming a little bit, actually, in like when I can fit it in, and that's been kind of fun. Jose, just like kind of not watching as many streams, because like I was finding, kind of like you were saying, like there's a while there where I was watching every stream, and then I was like, man, I've got a stream to watch every single day, and I was starting to feel a little overwhelmed by that, and went back to gaming a little. So yeah, I mean, try to get some gaming in too, maybe. But sorry to cut you off. No, yeah, I haven't gone back to gaming, but I was never a huge gamer. I only played like sports games, you know, like Madden and NBA 2K. But then they got so repetitive, I stopped playing them. I was one of those guys that every time I played like open world games or whatever you call them, like I'd get like annoyed that I couldn't do something, and then I just get pissed off, and it's just like, I'm over this fucking game, you know. It's like, I was just like, I still remember. You guys ever play the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 game? Of course.
Well, no. There was this one mission. I never passed it. It was like, I remember like I played it almost all the way through, but there was this one mission. I don't remember exactly what it was, but like you had to do this one thing, and I couldn't do it right, and I tried, and every time you lost, you had to start all over and start all over and start all over. And I did that so many times, and I was just like, I quit, and I never went back to it.
But it's a classic.
I know, and I really liked it. I actually really liked the first one too, the one that based on the first movie too. I really liked that game as well. They were both pretty great games. But yeah, you know, this week's been a little bit more challenging, a little bit busier, but I like it. I like to stay busy, because then, you know, that way I don't have too much, you know, free time. I'm not thinking about dumb things, and you know, I kind of just push along the week.
100%. Nice. How are you doing, Ty?
Well, my friends, you know, this has been like last week was pretty hectic for me, and like my plan was for this past weekend, I was just gonna kind of relax, lay back, play some games, you know, just kind of step back a bit, because I was just pressing. I felt like I was pressing so hard, like trying to come up with stuff to 3D print and sell, and you know, like try and get this 3D printing business off the ground. And it was just like I wasn't having any fun at all. You know, I was just like pushing, you know, and just kind of banging my head against a wall, it felt like. So then I was going to relax. I was just going to have like a rot weekend. And that turned into, with thanks to the ADHD, you know, I saw something over here. Oh, I need to just rearrange my entire setup and try and make this workspace and, you know, living space more functional again. So I kind of like pulled everything out of the closets and just started, doing all that, and then I sat down like, wait a minute, I was supposed to be relaxing this weekend. So then I had to like get that stuff straightened out. It's carried over into this week, so it's been a week of like coping, and then having some family issues. But this is helpful, just being with you guys on the stream and being with everyone in the chat. That always kind of gets me gets my head back on straight. I start just enjoying relaxing, because it's a hard thing for me to relax sometimes, but this is always this is good medicine for me. So
Yeah,
I'm all right.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad that you're you were able to get together the week and everything, and we're here together, and we can talk and kind of just step away from our worlds for a second. And we're all in different places in the world, but it's like we get to be here together and just have a conversation and chat. So that's cool, man.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean,
go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say, before like I joined the collecting community, and way before YouTube, like I was the only person I even knew that collected stuff like this. So there was
here.
a time where like I didn't necessarily feel weird collecting it, but it was also just kind of like I didn't want to celebrate it. I didn't really tell anybody about it, because it's like, how do you tell somebody you paid $500 for a Batman? Like they're gonna be like, what? Like, what kind of Batman is it? Does it put you to bed at night? Like what? So yeah, so like now I can nerd out every week, right? Every time something comes, like I called my channel the Ben Thomas Show, because everything I put on there, it gets me excited. Like if I'm talking about it, I'm genuinely excited to talk about it. If I don't care, it won't go on there.
That's important.
This week I got the Batman 89 with the gargoyle base in the display tie, and I was thinking about doing exactly the same thing that you just said, like this weekend, which is, okay, my collection room's filling up a little bit. It's time to repose a little bit, move some figures around, maybe, consider exiting a couple figures that are starting to hit the bottom shelf a little bit more often. Like, but like that's after the tonight, I've got one rolled up. I'm going to have some nice dinner, and then I'm going to sit in here and just kind of like with some tunes on, just decompress, look around, figure out where things want to go and what I can do with the display.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's a little overwhelming too. I get you on the ADHD piece, because it's like once you start, you also can't just like stop halfway through, right? And it can take a whole weekend for some of us. Like I only have just under 70 figures. Some of you guys out there have hundreds. I can't even imagine what it's like to redo those.
Yeah, neither can I. That's mind blowing. But it, like you said, like just that piece of looking at them and figuring out and just kind of working with them. I reposed some stuff because I finally got my Clone Wars Obi-Wan. So that started me on the whole, let me rearrange these shelves and get these guys in a better position and like I want. And that was very therapeutic. That was really nice, and just kind of, everything else just kind of wisps away, just kind of floats away. And there I am with these figures, these $500 figures, but and this is why I have them, because they bring back good memories. I don't have one rolled up, but
That's okay.
I can't have everything.
I only advocate for it because I'm Canadian. You can get your co-op points. You can get points towards groceries the more weed you buy. So it's like, it's incentive.
Another reason to go to
Canada. You get the munchies, you have already some points saved. You're fine.
Another reason to go Canadian. That's all I'm saying. So that was our little weekly check-in, our wellness check-in. How do you feel about that, Ben?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like getting out of my chest sometimes, right? And it's like, now that I'm more prepared for it, next time I'll think a little deeper on it too. But I think, sometimes we're so excited to just like see each other or talk some toys and stuff. You don't even get a chance to check in with the boys sometimes, like there's been times where, we all jump on like Collecting Weekly or Let's Get Nuts, and by the end of the show, it's like, oh my God, we're so bagged. Like this week was horrible. Hopefully people liked the show, because we really had to push through our energy today. We just couldn't, we weren't feeling it, but we didn't want to, all the people waiting for us wanted to have fun with us, right? And so you pick it up and you get there, but there have been days where it's like, yeah, we almost should have had that 10 minutes in the show or 10 minutes before the show just to huddle up a little bit and feel good and get back to that emotional strength. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes I catch myself doing that too, where it's like I'll be talking to people throughout the week, and then we're just talking figures, and then I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna take a second and be like, how are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, how is everything with you? And then sometimes it's funny because it catches them off guard, and they'll be like, "Yep, I'm fine." Like, how's your day going? It was like, good. I was, you know what I mean? It's kind of funny.
Yeah, they get that look like, why are you asking me that? Like, oh, what? Yeah. You're actually concerned about me?
Yeah.
Imagine that. Yeah. So, Ben,
sometimes it's more important, right?
It is. Right. It is. It's like there has to be that balance. You have the figures, but you have, these people who are friends, and they're not just, figure collectors that just come to life. Then, we all have our weeks. We all have our lives that are going on all week long. So,
we forget like some of these guys that we're watching on these streams, like they have families, like they have a wife and they have kids and they have like this other life that we don't really see. Like we hear them talk about it. Oh, my wife or my kids or whatever. But then like they feel like just an entity, like if we're watching a television show, right? And it's like, oh, that's Ross and Rachel or whatever. And it's like, but then it's like, no, these are real people. You know what I mean? Like, and they have.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, they have real life things that they're dealing with too.
And I think that's extremely important to show and to remember. Like, we're all people. Like, even though you see everyone on these streams, like no one has a perfect life. They're going through, the same things we go through. These people are going through it too. So like, even though they put forth their personas, which is fine, they're people, and the same things that we feel, they're feeling it too. And I think like just having this safe space to talk about it is good, because it's a little different from what everyone else is doing. So you can see, hey, these guys are human too.
Yeah, well, I like even hearing just about what everybody's goals are within collecting and outside of collecting. 2 years ago, my life basically fell apart. I was engaged, I had a house. I thought, my life was on a certain trajectory, and then that relationship ended. I had to sell the house. I ended up in this apartment by myself with a cat, and I'm like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I honestly thought I knew what was next, and it's what do I do now? I'm 2 years past that, and things have been great. But even now, even with regards to collecting, it's like I love collecting. I'll never stop collecting. I've been collecting since I was a kid, whether it was smaller scale stuff, Lego, 6 scale, doesn't matter what it is. I'll always collect. But even now, I'm like, I want to buy a house again at some point, like in the next couple of years, right? I already had the house. I had my collection basement. I had to lose that. I want to get back to that. So now I'm like, I've got goals of still collecting while also still squirreling as much money away as I can to eventually buy a house for myself again, whether I have a partner. And that's a huge goal, but also some stress, right? It means that I do have to grind harder at work. It means that I can't maybe buy every figure that hits me in the nostalgic punch in the chest, like I got to be strategic. So it's cool to hear people's struggles, because also it usually results in what their goals are and how their life is truly progressing. So
yeah. So guys, just like advice to everyone out there, check in sometimes, check in with each other. I'd like to remind myself sometimes that, because I can sometimes overlook that. Sometimes I'm like, hey, look at all these new things that are coming out. Look at the photo of this new hot toy. It's like, check in with each other. Ask them how their day is going, because sometimes it means a lot. Maybe that person, is going through some stuff, and then you ask them how their day is going, and then like they can kind of release that and with you, because maybe you're like an outside perspective, or someone that's not really close to the situation, and they can actually really do that. So I'm not saying they always will. Sometimes they won't. They might be like I said, like I got some where they were like, oh, okay, I'm doing fine. How are you? You know what I mean? Like sometimes you'll get that, and that's fine, but sometimes someone will be like, hey, like, thanks for so much for asking. Like, yeah, man, I'm kind of dealing with this issue, but I'll get through it, and you have that one moment. And I think that it also brings you closer to those people.
Yeah, you could be that one sounding board that they needed, that they didn't think was out there, but you could be that one. Just the thing that they needed at just the right time.
Yeah, 100%.
It's important. Be good to each other. So we were talking earlier, Ben. This is mainly for you. I said I had something to show you. This will be real quick because there are a couple of other figures I want to touch on.
I don't want to lose half your audience here, so I'll try to be quick.
No way, no way.
Oh,
Hey, you're bringing in more.
Warp Core?
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Where'd you get this from?
So this was actually, I was watching this YouTube video, and actually it was Adam Savage's Tested, and they were talking about a working Warp Core light.
That's cool.
And I was like, what? And so I was looking because I'm like, oh, well, how much is this model going to cost? And it actually is a free, like the person that made this model free. Like they do sell on Etsy, and you can buy a version of this that is done by him. It's sort of like a lamp, this version of it, because they even have a mini version. They have different Warp Cores from different enterprises. So it's a pretty nice thing, and I just wanted to show it to you because
it's from my favorite enterprise as well. So I appreciate that.
Mine too. And I printed out the normal size one that he made, but of course, me being me, I had to start printing out a larger version because I was thinking I can use. I just got my Geordie from Mafia, my TNG Geordie, and I can use this as a background for photos.
Hell yeah.
So I did scale it up. I don't really have shots of that right now because it's still printing, but
cool
like see this big stuff right here. Like this is not my workshop. This is his workshop. Like he's got it good. Yeah, but mine looks similar to this. Like there's a lot of stuff. And but like this piece right here is like the centerpiece, and that's pretty much what mine looks like. It looks like he scaled it up to like 200%. So in the future, I will be showing the finished product because he even has the plans, like tells you how to use the LEDs to light it. And there's a program that he uses to program the lights so that they react just like they did on the Enterprise. So the way they go up and down like that.
Yeah,
they
like
do that.
Yeah, that's
neat. They have all this. There's no sound, but there's even like the Enterprise, like the button actually turns on the lights for this thing. Decent. So like, it's down there. So I just wanted to show you that real quick.
Thank you. Now I want something else in my life. I appreciate that. Now I'm one step further away from that house, Ty. Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Buddy. That is actually super cool. That is really, really cool.
Like there's an Etsy. If you ever want to know, I can send you the Etsy link. But
send me it. I'll check it out.
Yeah, like I decided I'm going to do it myself, and because that's fun and crazy stuff for me to do. And so now we touched on J&D a little bit earlier. Someone commented about their pricing for a silicone. And now we have this thing.
1/3?
Yes.
1/3.
That's correct.
1/3. I need to bring this window over to where I can actually see stuff. Okay. There we go. 1/3. Look at this pricing.
I saw that.
Now let's get some thoughts.
Let's let Ben start since he's our guest here. Ben, what do you think about this J&D 1/3 statue of Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie, in the club scene from the original Suicide Squad?
So I love the dress. I love the paint job. I love the seamless look to the body. I don't love the face sculpt. I think Margot Robbie is in there, but I'm not seeing it 100%. And at a 1/3 scale, it's quite a bit for everybody to see it in full detail. And so for me, I do think that based on the price point, I think it should look exactly like her, like unquestionably. And maybe I'm just blind. Totally get it. If you guys out there think that this looks exactly like her, then fair. I think it's a better or closer representation than some of the others that have existed in the past. But like for that price point, my goodness, like you could practically buy a small car for that. Like really, right? Like it's so aggressively priced, and it's also extremely scene specific, which is also interesting. And so my preference, if I was ever going to go down the Harley Quinn line, see that straight on likeness, I just, it's like a really good Margot Robbie, like, cosplayer, like real damn close, but not 100%. Something in the eyes that she's got going on for her that this I'm just not seeing. I think for that kind of price, like I would have rather still see her from like the Suicide Squad look with the baseball bat and the red and blue and white, and like her kind of classic movie look. And maybe they've given that before, and I'm not even familiar with it. I'm not a statue collector. I will never claim to be. It's too rich for my blood. I think even if it was perfect, it would still be too rich for my blood. There's just so many other things that I want in life that for that kind of cost, it's crazy. I'd rather get the Jazz Inc. Batmobile or other things that are still more than half the cost of this. So.
Yeah, at this price, you could probably buy 2 Batmobiles from Jazz Inc.
Almost,
imagine,
right?
And that's how expensive Jazz Inc. is. And
and this is American pricing, so I'd have to factor in shipping, which I'm sure is pretty crazy, as well as Canadian conversion rate, which like the $3,400 is actually more like $5,000 Canadian. So like that's really stretching it. So, and I think I'm an idiot for this, and I don't think anybody should do this, but I pre-ordered that Joker J&D 6 scale for, what was it, 1,500 American. So that's going to cost me over $2,000 for that. But Heath Ledger's Joker is my favorite villain character of all time. So that's the only reason I could even subtly justify it to myself. I love Margot Robbie. I thought her version of Harley Quinn was always amazing. I think she did an amazing job, but not to the point where I would break the bank to bring her in the collection. I do keep hoping that we'll get a reissue of, I know reissue is sometimes a painful word, but I still kind of hope we'll get that original Suicide Squad version of her again at some point, or maybe an artisan option or something along those lines. But not this for me.
what about you, Ty? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, see, this is why I don't mute it on the stream. I do it on my my mixer because I forget. But yeah, man, it like she looks. I agree with you, Ben. It looks like a very good cosplayer. You can see who it's supposed to be, but it is not Margot Robbie. And like, I know no one's perfect, but for this kind of money, this better be Margot Robbie. Like, I want to look at her and say, you know what? I shrunk Margot Robbie and she's mine now. And she lives here with me. She's mine. And I can't get these pictures to do what I want them to do. Oh, there we go. Yeah, see, I don't know. I mean, I'm not knocking it. Whoever wants this, I hope you really, really do enjoy it. But I think it is very scene specific, and I have to say I agree with you too, Ben. About I'd rather see her in like the classic Suicide Squad outfit. I think that would be better. For this price, none of it would work for me. But if they could just give me a 6 scale. Mm-hmm. That would be great, but
even that, Ty, like the 6 scale Birds of Prey version of her is still, I think, on Sideshow right now, even I think for like 30% off, and nobody's buying her because while they love Margot Robbie, that's not necessarily the representation, especially from that film.
Bingo.
That people like actually want to collect. And so this seems like an odd pick for something that's so heavily priced. It's wild.
Yeah,
it is wild.
Yeah, they're definitely banking on people that really love Margot Robbie, because I mean they would, if you're gonna pay $3,000, you must really like her and her interpretation of Harley Quinn. So Yeah, they're totally banking on that. It's definitely very scene specific. And then it's like, how do you explain that? You have that displayed, and it's just like you got like a very central looking Harley Quinn. It's just like your lady friend comes over and she's like, "Oh, what's that?" "Oh, it's Harley Quinn from the Suicide Squad." I mean, it's one of those like really like towing the line there a little bit. She's not like in a super subjective pose, but I mean, there's the the pole and all that. So
exactly. She's pole dancing.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, okay, well,
the chick from Waterboy, Aunt Jemima, 100%. I see that. If you gave her dark hair, 100%. That is a good call right there. I love that movie.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
And I mean, she was super cute too. Don't get me wrong, but she still wasn't Margot Robbie. I 100% see that. That's a great call. It's interesting, Ty, because like I would love to hear from the chat too. When I first was looking at 1/6 scale, I wanted a 6 scale. Well, I should say I wanted a Joker. I really wanted a Joker, and the DX11 at the time was the best representation of the Joker in 6 scale. This is going back like 14 years ago. And I looked at 3rd scale options. I looked at larger scales, smaller scales, and I kind of, at the time, this is before I knew anything about 6 scale, I arrived kind of at the 6 scale version because everything that I was seeing in 6 scale to me looked closer to the likeness of the character than anything that I was seeing in larger scale. So point of all that being, if there's a 1/3 out there that you guys have maybe in your collection of that you've seen that you're like, Ben, you said 6 scales better likeness, you have to see this 1/3 though, because this is significantly better. I would love to see one of those too, because I've always looked at 1/3 and thought it seems really high priced. Where the heck would I put it? And I still kind of like the likeness of the 6 scale offerings better. So it's almost always a no dice for me in terms of it.
They usually say like with the 1/3 or like quarter scale and 1/3, it gives them more of a canvas to like really do the art or like bring the details out because they're just bigger, so it's easier for them to paint them. But it's not always the case. I mean, you look at this one and it's not always the case. I think the Hot Toys Harley Quinn, that was the Margot Robbie one, not the first one that they did.
With her smile, the big smile that she had. Oh man, that was amazing. It's a
like that. Sculpt. That's her. That's more Margot Robbie than this one is, and a whole lot less money. But let's see. Let's take a look at the chat real quick here. Comic Cap Collectibles. Hello, welcome. And Aunt Jemima is having a good time. Yeah. I don't remember what the chick from the Waterboy looks like, but
look it up. I see it. I see it. I know where you guys are talking about. And yep, I see it. Put the dark hair on her, and yep. Yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah.
I haven't done
Larry
that
Walker
in a long time, but she's awesome.
Welcome, Larry Walker. An artisan version of Harley would be awesome. I'm surprised Hot Toys haven't done it yet. It may be in the pipeline,
Yeah, that's coming. I could see that happening. I think they're going to do it. I would think that they do original Suicide Squad baseball bat, Harley, artisan, wool hair, all that. I think that's coming sooner than later. I think.
You think it's been Jose long enough since the original release and with their technology?
I mean, they did BVS. They redid Batman versus Superman figures already.
Okay,
yeah, it's from the same year, 2016. So figures came out around the same time. So yeah, I could see it, and I could see them doing a different expression. Even though that one with the open mouth one was really good, but I could see them doing something different,
like an extra head sculpt to go along with it.
Have they ever offered another head sculpt with an artisan? I'm not sure if they've done that yet.
Well, maybe they should.
But rolling eyeballs for sure, which would be different. From what I remember, the one with the open mouth had her eyes to the side.
Yeah.
Which when those early figures, I always found really frustrating. Like, I remember I had a couple that their eyes were looking to the side, and it just bugged me, because it's like, if you wanted to have them looking straight on, it just looked weird,
Yeah.
I know the original Tom Holland's Spider-Man Homecoming, that one, his eyes were to the side. Luke from the sequel trilogy, eyes to the side. One of the Lukes from Return of the Jedi, eyes to the side. So it was just the rolling eyeballs. While they have their faults, it helps because it would really annoy me.
It brings them from that whole being a statue like thing to giving them life, because so much of appearing alive is the eyes. They don't have that dead look. And I see Ben has added something here, so let's take a look.
It's not the best screen grab I could grab, but
okay,
the blonde hair on her.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
She's pretty hot, I will say, but she's not Margot Robbie. So
no, but I see it now. Okay.
Yep, I can see.
All right, that makes sense.
Good call. Good catch.
Yeah, very good, very good. But Ben, how do you feel about a re-release?
Of which? Sorry.
Of Harley.
Like if they did an Artisan.
Squad. Yeah, if they did an Artisan.
Oh, I'd buy it 100%. I missed on the first one. It came out kind of right around the time that I was starting to collect, so it was a little bit too narrowed for me. Like I was still trying to collect some of my primary favorites first, the main characters, right? And while she's still absolutely a main character within the worlds of DC, it wasn't like the one that I had to collect yet. But now looking back, like I'm like, man, now she'd be a wonderful representation in 6 scale for me with so many of my other characters that I have now in my DC display. So yeah, no, I would be all over a pre-order on that for sure. 100%. Yeah. And I still love her smile. The only thing I would hope for is if they reissue it, that they fix the knee issue. Because I do remember her having some really strange looking knees in her.
They were kind of gnarly. Looking. Well, with their new silicone techniques, they should be able to.
Yeah, 100%. I would hope so. Yeah. So, but I mean, that was like such a small knock still on such a great figure for sure. So, I mean, even if they, I hate to say it, but even if they like just straight reissued it, didn't even necessarily 2.0 it, I would still buy it even at that point. But knock on wood, I'm kind of hoping that if Hot Toys continues to revisit the well of any of their previous characters, especially the awesome ones or the ones that are hitting still high price points on aftermarket, just do them better. Then give them that extra love. I talked about my Batman this week, and I had a couple people reach out to me after my review, and they're like, we liked your review, but we felt like you should have been more critical of the fact that it was a 2.0, but like there's still elements of the previous version that we think are better. Like, shouldn't a 2.0 be like significantly better, like a really large step forward, or don't do it at all? And I'm like, that is fair. When I look at the DX09, I still think the likeness is better to Keaton. I liked the suit texturing more of the DX09. Like, there was some wins there, but then you could argue there was also still some benefits to the 2.0 here as well. It just necessarily wasn't that leap forward like we've seen sometimes with other 2.0s, like going from a plastic Iron Man to a die-cast Iron Man. The first time that happened, that was a significant leap, right? And I mean, next it'll be rechargeable batteries, I'm sure, or USB or something along those lines. I still feel like USB doesn't actually feel that advanced technology, to be honest. It still feels more like a pain in the ass to me than it's worth.
It's the way they're doing it.
Rechargeable bases. I want rechargeable figures. I want something that you can charge them up, can turn them on, and that's it. Or they have display bases that are like charging stations where as soon as you plug them on the base, it turns on. Something along those lines. But yeah, not like I don't love the USB cords and stuff. So bit of a tangent, but if they're gonna redo it, do it better. I do agree with that.
I think
go ahead, Todd.
I was just gonna say, I think it's the way they're doing it is clunky right now, and like the way they've designed this new Iron Man with the magnetic thing, they put some thought into it. I think they need to put some thought into how they wire up these other figures, because like the way they have it going now with the USB, it's more of a hassle and not really worth it in my opinion, for most of these figures, like to have those wires coming out of them.
Well, I was gonna say, and they're wearing those like big battery backpacks now. Like,
Exactly.
It's like that doesn't look aesthetically good on a figure.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that?
That is not accurate. That's not screen accurate. I didn't see a backpack on him.
Darth Vader. So those little backpack satchel battery. Yeah, no, nobody wants
I didn't see Black Adam wearing a backpack when he had his lightning coming out. So no. So I think they need to put some thought into it. It's a good idea to get away from those batteries, but it's going to take some more engineering and probably some R&D for them to figure out a better way to do it.
But even like the Batmobile, right? The Hot Toys Batmobile that just came out. Like, I'm jealous of everybody that got that in hand. But the fact that they didn't actually turn that into a USB function where you could plug it in and actually keep it consistently on, is ridiculous. No, it's still a battery compartment.
I have to go get batteries.
It's exactly the same mold as the previous option. Now, like the DeLorean was silly because you'd still have to click a button to turn it on. But at the very least, once it's on, I can leave it on all day, and it's beautiful. No, batteries in that thing makes no sense. Like, again, if you're going to reissue it, do it better at the very least. At the very least.
At least fix those obvious shortcomings, because you can definitely get rid of batteries. Like, you could definitely have it. It's a static vehicle. It's not like it's running around everywhere. Just like the Batman Batmobile I have from Jazz Inc. is USB. And it's plugged in. It's not like I'm rolling it around my apartment anywhere. Like, it's on a shelf.
Sure you're not, Ty. Sure you're not.
We're gonna see a video of Ty. He got the Batman in there, and he's like playing with it. He's like, "Who's recording?"
That's gonna be my new short next week.
You know what? The only saving grace for the vehicles having batteries in is at least they're bigger batteries. So when you turn them on, you can still take pictures for longer than about 6.5 minutes before the batteries die. Those little button cell batteries in the figures also never made sense to me because it took longer to actually turn them on than they would last. And so, like, that is the only reason that I still say USB is better, but like barely. It's like kind of the next half step.
The last Dark Knight they made, that Christian Bale one, where he's got the glowing eyes, I almost decided not to put the batteries in him. Yeah. Like, even the quarter scale, I was like, if this thing keeps doing this, I don't care. He's not wearing it. It is not worth the trouble of because the battery just kept squirting out. Like, granted, I have a hand injury, so like I don't have the same dexterity I used to. But trying to put those little skinny. Okay. Anyway, I digress. I
bought tweezers very specifically to put batteries in, and I found like eyebrow tweezers basically to put them in, and that has actually been a huge game changer for me on getting those things in. But
Ben, they were squirting out of my tweezers.
Yeah, that sounds way dirtier than you expected.
Yeah, I have like 15 different sets of tweezers, and they were squirting out of all my tweezers. Jesus. And yes, I said that intentionally.
Word of the day is squirt. Word of the day.
So, Jose, Ben, I have a question for you. How do you feel about Ghostbusters?
I love Ghostbusters.
I like Ghostbusters.
Well, the originals, anyways.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait.
Afterlife is cool. I like Afterlife.
Okay.
I did like Afterlife. I could not get through Frozen Empire. I hate to say it. I turned it off.
Frozen Empire, no.
Okay. That's not a problem.
I like that one more. But.
Now, tell me what you think about this. From our friends at Star Ace.
It's very Star AC. Is my immediate feedback. It looks like Peter Venkman, not Venkman. I honestly, like, somebody needs to pull the license from those people. Honestly, fire them, start from scratch. I don't understand how a licensed company can continue to give us figures that just do not nail these likenesses. Like, why do they So-So Toys? Like, we were talking about that Arnold Schwarzenegger earlier. Mm-hmm. That looks so much like Arnold Schwarzenegger comparatively than this does to Bill Murray. Like, this looks like he's related to Bill Murray, but it doesn't look like him.
Yeah. It's like his
primo, his cousin or something.
His first cousin or something like that. Not even his brother.
Yeah, and like the tailoring is rough. The zipper is huge.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Sort of jump ahead, but I'm I saw these yesterday, and it's like, obviously the Blitzway ones have been the ones that people have chased for years, right? And they're great, but they're also still oddly proportioned compared to other 6-scale figures. And so I think a lot of people have been wanting more. I ragged on the Present Toys Ghostbusters figures that came out not that long ago as well for pre-order. But even those ones I think are honestly better likenesses than even what we're seeing here. I feel like they need to take the license away from Star Ace. What they did to the boys line is devastating. It's devastating. Don't do this to the Ghostbusters too. Like, what the hell?
See, what this shows though, guys, what this shows is if you have enough money to buy the license, a lot of these holders will just sell you the license because they're just concerned about that money, because they're getting that money whether you sell a figure or not. You know, because if they had any real pride in what they're doing, why would they allow something like this? Like, subject to final approval, never. I would say no.
Yeah, you're right. But like even if
Look at
it's
this.
like you would think though it would still affect them more as a business, right? Like,
you'd think
pride is one thing for sure, but they still operational costs. Now, obviously, figures are, like, as we've seen from HONŌ versus Hot Toys, 6-scale figures are one of the most marked up things that we buy. You know, they probably make those things for about $25 and they sell them to us for $400, but at the end of the day, there's still operational costs. They're still paying people to do this work. And the constant criticism of Star Race just not hitting the mark cannot bode well for them every time they get ready to throw out another pre-order, because aren't they themselves being like, man, the collectors really freaking hated all of our boys figures for the most part. What are they going to think of this? Like, shouldn't we try to like amp it up a little bit here, folks? Or they're going to give up on us entirely. And
somebody's buying it.
But you're right. I can't remember. I think it was Zach from Collecting Weekly shared a story the one time where he said, we were ragging on Star Race as Homelander, right? Literally in the show the night before. And then he was in a comic store and there was somebody in line in front buying the Star Ace Homelander, and they were like the most excited they've ever been about picking up a Homelander. Like, they were so excited. And it was like, I didn't have the heart to be like, there's like other better options that exist, because you don't want to yuck on somebody's yum. And at the end of the day, while I'm passionate about this because I definitely am a Ghostbusters fan, I definitely don't want to yuck on anybody's yum. If you think this is nailing it for you, you need glasses, but I still respect you as an individual with operational cost. So,
yeah,
what's that saying? Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah,
I was just gonna say, what's that saying? Like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder or whatever. So I'm like, that guy must have been like, oh man, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like
they did Winston dirty too, and honestly, like they need to if they're gonna keep it up, then they got to get Egon at least right. They got to get Ray at least right, because at least if those two are good, then you could pair them maybe with the other ones that we did see from Present Toys.
You said if.
Big if.
When?
This is Star Ace. This is Star Ace we're talking about. That's not going to happen.
We all saw Starlight. We know what she looked like.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, they were.
You see the Rocky figures they have?
Oh gosh.
Who the hell is that supposed to be?
They did those dirty too.
They're so bad. And it reminds me. It reminds me of a story. Sorry to cut you off. It reminds me of a story. I think Justin was saying one time. He said that when they announced that Apollo Creed, he reached out to somebody that he knew that worked with Star Ace and told them like, "Hey, the body proportions are off. Like, I recommend you use this body or this body or something like that." And he said that the guy from Star Ace basically was like, "Yeah, we don't care," or something like that. Like, I was like, "Whoa, okay." Like, I'm like, well, that tells you what they think, like we're still gonna do it the way we want. So, like,
it's still just such a miss though for them as a business. I mean, if you aren't progressing forward, then you're falling way behind. And there's so much 1/6 scale competition out there right now. Like, give the license to So Toys then. Just give it to them. Like, let them take a crack at the boys figures as well as some of these other, even like 3-0 even, like 3-0s.
They're way better. 3-0's way better. Like, right? They're Walking Dead. Like, I have the Rick Grimes. Nothing wrong with him.
For sure, right? And like, and again, I mean, some would argue, well, like, oh, now InArt's going to be so much better than that, but there's always going to be competition. But like, again, with some of these like favorite characters for people, these huge nostalgic punch in the chest characters, you know, it's like I would love these in the collection, but I'm going to save my dollars for pretty much anything else.
Yeah. At first, I was excited when I saw that they were going to do it. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
well, maybe I could at least use their uniforms and like get a different body or something like that to make it better. And then I saw the head sculpt. I'm like, oh boy, maybe I have to get a new third-party head sculpt. And then I saw the price that they're asking for these, and it's like $284. And I was like,
oh
you've got to be kidding me, Star Ace. Like,
and
they obviously don't care.
So $284 for this, and yet people are feeling upset about $215 for that Iron Man, that classic Iron Man that absolutely nails the comic likeness to that character, right? Like, again, where are you willing to spend your dollars, or who are you willing to support? I do think, Ty, like you made a great point there, because I was thinking about this actually today. I told you I got that Batman. I immediately purchased a Jackson Jew custom drape cape. Because while the cape that came with this one's not terrible, like you can tell like there could be improvement. But I've wanted a Batman Begins Batman for ages, and the Hot Toys one is just so rough without customization that I'm like, I don't want to buy a figure for $300 and then also spend another $300 or $400 just customizing it. Like, these companies that have the licenses should either nail it or step aside and let somebody else take it. I don't think as collectors we should feel so ready to just spend more money to try and improve something that exists. It's not a bad idea to put a better body in this tie. Like, not to knock the idea. It's just you shouldn't have to. Like, that's the point. And it's rough. It's rough.
100%. 100% agreed. And I did the work with the Batman Begins. Like, I used some Sideshow rewards and got the figure, and had to wait over a year to get the Jackson Jew Batman head sculpt, Batman Begins head sculpt from them. And now it's finally, and I got a cape coming. He's finally the figure he should have been, like the way Hot Toys should have done it. Like, my biggest gripe with them with this is they do this to Batman Begins. They don't show him any respect, but they give all the love and adoration to the Dark Knight one. You know, they even make him into a costume color blue and gray that he never wore, you know, as an anniversary edition. But
darkness is not his ally, if you can see that blue coming. Let's be honest. Okay?
Not at all. But they treat the Batman Begins like he's just a piece of garbage, you know, and I don't understand why. For me, it's the better costume, but I did do the work. And finally, I have him where I display him, because before I got those parts, I didn't display him, you know. But now he's in my detail that are just, it's just Batman, the Batman detail. It's Batman and the Joker, you know. But
I have heard, I obviously don't know firsthand, but I have heard that just kind of in the Asian markets, though, the Dark Knight film is significantly more popular, and since that's where a lot of these companies obviously come
I believe
from,
it.
I think that's the big reason for this.
2 points. 2 points. First, yes, once you add all those parts, he looks significantly better right here on my shoulder here, like that. Like, once you get, that's badass. Like, I got the Jackson head sculpt and the Jackson cape, and it's a drape cape that has like that kind of like velvet material, and like it's really nice. You got it flowing, and boom, there it is. So like, that's what it should have been. And I did the same thing, Ty. Like, I waited, it got on discount, I used the rewards because I was not going to pay full retail for that. Hell no. So waited, got the discount, and basically what I paid for this and the custom cape basically matches up to what it would have been retail, which is not bad, you know, ultimately. Like, but it should have been out of the box like that.
Yeah.
And
we
second
know what
point,
they could do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead,
second point, at the InArt event, I found out that precise point that Ben just made about the Dark Knight, because I started talking to them about Batman Begins, and I started mentioning like, hey, why don't you guys do like a Ra's al Ghul or a Scarecrow or like these characters from Batman Begins? And they were like if I was talking to the wall, like they had no idea who I was talking about. They were like, who? And then I was like, and then I showed them pictures, and they were like, and then like I was showing them the Scarecrow with the the mask, and they were like, and then I showed them Cillian Murphy, and he's like, oh, Oppenheimer, and I was like, yeah, and he's like, and then
Wow.
and they were like, oh, that'd be pretty cool, and then I showed them Ra's al Ghul, and they were like, oh yeah, and then they're like, maybe, but I was like, I started mentioning like Bane and the Joker and like all these, and they were like, oh yeah, like they like knew all about it, and they're like, yeah, we definitely want to do a Catwoman from Dark Knight Rises, and we want to do a Bane and blah blah blah. They knew all about that, but I told them Batman Begins, and it was like they had no idea, like they were like completely confused. Like I wish you guys would have seen that expression. You would have been like, whoa, like you can totally see the difference.
I believe it. It's like, but Batman Begins, if there was no Batman Begins, there wouldn't have been a Dark Knight.
Exactly.
There wouldn't have been a Dark Knight trilogy, because they had to start somewhere, and he was the beginning of it. And I still think that's the better costume, even though he couldn't turn his head. I still think it's the better costume than the Dark Knight. Like he looks mean. He looks like something that if you saw him at night in an alley or something, you're like, well, that's it for me. I'm cooked. That's what he looks like to me. The other one just looks like a dude in high tech military armor. Yeah, but
I would just tell him
that his only fight move is the one with fighting with the elbow. Oh. You ever seen
all? My name is Rachel. Yes.
Every fight scene.
Yeah, man. That's a great fight scene, though. You know how much we love this figure that's on the screen when we had a 10-minute tangent about Batman as opposed to Peter Venkman.
What were we talking about?
I was gonna try and bring us back to Jose. What your thoughts? I don't know if you gave your complete thought on the whoever the hell this is supposed to be.
No, the tailoring, that zipper, when you pointed that out, I hadn't even really looked at those photos, to be honest.
As big as his thumb.
Oh my gosh. No. No. The only thing they keep thinking about, I'm like, they must, like, maybe Star Ace has like a really attractive like marketing agent or something that goes to like, these studios and like does the selling. They're like, hey, let us buy your, the licensing for your figures. And those guys with old geezers in the suits are like, we can't resist the Star Ace lady, man. Like, because what are they doing? Like, how are they getting these licenses, man? Like, who's sleeping with who? Like, I don't know what's going on here, man. Like, or they got a lot of money, but how do they have money? Like, who's bankrolling these guys?
I don't know. See, now we're going like some dark like corner of the internet. Who knows how they make their money? I don't want to get involved.
Because I'm not pre-ordering this. You're not pre-ordering this. Ben's not pre-ordering this. So who's pre-ordering this?
Dark money, man.
Well, and I feel like I'm the market for something like this because like these are characters that I grew up with. These are movies I watched on repeat. Is the ghost symbol backwards on his arm?
Gosh. Maybe.
Yes, looks like it's backwards. It is. How do you mess that up?
It's Star Ace. That's how you mess it up. You just there's your answer right there. They got the nerve. What are they? Hot Toys now showing the boot. He should come with a boot.
He comes with a boot.
What the hell is this?
His the electrical.
It looks like something else.
The stream. One of the streams.
A rainbow sperm. What is happening?
Man, if these were solid like Ghostbusters figures, from an actual like company, because I don't even know what these guys are, but like an actual company with really good tailoring. I don't care if he was even Mars Toys or a third party, right? And they looked exceptional, I'd get them, but this, no.
Yeah, there's no way. Somebody is buying it though. I want to meet that one person that's buying.
Yeah,
actually, no, I don't.
I'd love to interview that person. It was like, why do you feel like this is good enough representation, and not as a joke? Like, not like, because like you bring up that example, Ben, of the guy who bought that Homelander. Like, I'd love to get his perspective. I'm like, hey, like, why is this a good enough version for you?
Well, I mean, like,
maybe they just don't know any better.
They just don't have anything to compare it to necessarily yet. Maybe that's their first couple, like maybe when it's one of the first figures, or maybe it's just, maybe they're not 6-scale collector. They just always loved Homelander and the boys, and they're like, man, this is cool. This is going to look awesome in my office. You know what I mean? Like, and like to a certain extent, I think that's the case. When we have so many great figures side by side here, sometimes it is easier to be more critical of these likenesses. If you go back to Ben 14 years ago and said, who is this character? I'd be like, oh man, that's Pete Venkman, like, of course. it's a Ghostbuster. You know, I wouldn't have known how to be critical of the artwork that goes into these figures. And I think that, like, as I said, I love the character, I love the films, but like there is still an element of artwork that goes into all of these releases. And when you get things like the Ghost logo backwards on a licensed character, that's insulting to the brand of Ghostbusters. It's insulting. And it's insulting to the people who truly want a representation of this in the collection. That's why I say pull the license from these folks, because they're just proving that, like, they can't even be in it for the money because the sales can't be that great. So what are they in the game for then? Just step aside.
I don't get it, Ben. I don't. I agree with you. Like, you know, I'm saying it's got to be them paying for the license, but you would think as the license holder, they'd be more particular about what they put their brand on. Like, this is their franchise. I'm sorry, it can't help, because even if you don't collect a lot of 6-scale figures, just the price of this would make me step back and say, wait a minute. You want almost basically with shipping, like over $300 for this, and even if you looked at like Sideshow or something and saw it there, you see other figures on Sideshow's website and you're like, well, wait, this looks more like the real person than whatever this thing's supposed to be from Star Ace. You'll get Hot Toys. Even Sideshow figures look decent. They don't stand up, but they look decent. So like there's examples everywhere of better figures. It's just that price would stick out to me. If I had no other idea, because at first when I started collecting, I didn't know the difference between Sideshow and Hot Toys. At first, I saw a difference in. Well, actually, no, they were closer in pricing back then. But I could still see other people I quickly saw a difference. Once I started seeing more figures, I'm like, oh, now I get it. Like I saw the Sideshow Darth Vader and I see the Hot Toy. Oh, now I see. Like, I'm sorry. Like $284 for this thing. I feel for you. Whoever buys this. Because, I was going to get the Apollo. The Star Ace Apollo Creed. And then I looked at it, like, I'm not going to get this.
I literally almost got the Homelander from Star Ace this week on Facebook Marketplace because somebody had him on there for $160 Canadian. And I was like, okay, like $160 maybe. Like, I get the representation in. Shout out to Justin's Collection. I don't know him very well personally, but I will say that I went to his review online and watched his review and immediately, thank God, he sold me off that figure. Because as soon as I saw it next to even like some of the other ones, like the So-So Toys version, even the So-So Toys one's not perfect, but like it looks miles better than the Star Ace one, like miles better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so shout out to him because thankfully he just saved me $160 in the headache of picking it up. I would have been stuck with that figure. No wonder he's like the person's abandoning it. Like it's wild.
I think you can still find the So-So one, and then they're going to redo the head sculpt because the one that it came with wasn't that strong.
Pack, right?
Like there's an update. It's like $50 or something, but you can get the figure like Giant Toy. There's something like they're in stock. Okay. And they're under $200.
And the proportions are strong on that one. Yeah. Giant Toy. I know One Man Hobby might still have it as well.
Yeah, I checked them out.
I saw him on there. Yeah.
But I have the So-So Toys, and he's good.
I've never shopped at Giant Toy before. I'm gonna pull that up.
Yeah,
Giant Toys are good. They're good.
They're
I like them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Never heard of it. I'll save that to bookmarks. Decent.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks for the suggestion.
Oilers Workshop. Hello, my friend. The sad truth is, if the numbers work at the end of the day, they may be that company who just doesn't care about anything else other than that number. Bingo.
Sure.
It's got to be. Somehow it makes sense to them. Like, it works.
But the thing is that I don't understand how the numbers are actually clicking here. Like, how does that make sense? Like, if they're making, I don't know, let's put a number, 500 units, are they really selling all 500 units? Like, and then what's the number they have to sell to be successful? You know what I mean? Like, and are they actually doing that? Like, or is there, let's say it has to be at least half of those 500. Are they selling half of 500? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that being feasible. How does that make sense? So it's like, if it's all about the numbers, how are they hitting those numbers with products like this? You know,
Even the costumes don't look right. You know, like
that's what I'm saying. Like
you see that
like
zipper,
you said,
like
there might be that one, like, you know, new collector that doesn't really collect, that might buy it, you know, see it at the, you know, at their comic book shop, and they'll pick it up and, okay, cool, I'm happy with this. You know, maybe a few couple hundred here and there, right? But is that enough to cover those numbers, like for the production line and all the people that were involved in making these products? And
well,
like, you know, like there's someone was in an office, right, a boardroom, and showed these figures and did a round of applause. Hey, look, like in Star Ace facility, and they thought this was good enough.
hey,
And I'd love to know, like, they're like, I'd love to see the charts and the numbers and be like, how are they functioning? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I rant over.
Jose, I'm not. I don't want to shit on an artist, but if you look at this head sculpt, like, not a lot of work has gone into this. Okay, so you know they're not putting a lot of R&D money into this. You know, they're obviously cutting corners everywhere. You know, because you can look at like some of the 3D printing places I go, like, or even eBay has head sculpts that you can buy that are better than this thing right here. Like, I got a Homelander one that I'm still working on that looks better than what the original So Toys looks like. You know, and it's like $24, and he fits the So Toys body. You know, so like you can get, like, there are people out here that are doing way better work than wherever they got this from. You know, and like, let me just say, 12-inch Moose Dream, the Star Ace Ecto 1 has 3 wheels. I would not doubt that. I would not doubt that. And Oiler's Workshop, Star Ace is one of the great mysteries of the universe. And
I wish you hadn't told me about this website. There are some like really cool stuff on this Giant Toys website.
Oh, the Giant, yeah, man.
6 scale.
You're welcome.
There's a lot of really cool stuff in here. I'm like, man,
you are welcome, Ben.
And they're great. They have like a Facebook group, and then like their customer service is top of the line. Like they're really good.
that's awesome. I still can't find the Homelander yet, but I don't know what he's
I don't.
called.
I'm actually looking at it
he's-
on Giant
he's
Toys
called
too. I don't see
John-
it.
He's like John
He
Lander.
might be gone.
John Lander, but I'm not seeing. I'm seeing the.
He
maybe
he's
He
gone.
might be gone.
he might have been gone now. But I see.
That's too
Let
bad.
me see if I can find him on One Man Hobby. I think I saw him there like recently. So,
Okay, because yeah, they even have Mars Toys versions on here and stuff. That's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool. Decent. Side note. Oh, I sent you a reference picture in the chat here, Ty, as well, just for pull up, just if you want. Just for the reference. I want the one credit I will give Star Ace here is I actually think that they got Bill Murray's hair in the front here, this little piece. I feel like this is the reference photo they used for this figure. I don't know if you can see it, but
Wait, where
should
am
be
I
shared.
looking?
Sorry, just shared at the bottom where all of our chatters are.
Oh, okay, yeah. My bad. I still have my other. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the little hair curl at the front.
Yeah.
I feel like they nailed that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got it. Okay. They got the hair. We'll give them that. They got the hair.
Yeah, got the hair. I'll give 'em that.
Bravo,
They
Star
tried.
Ace.
They tried a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how, but somehow they make the numbers work. Maybe the license does not cost them that much, you know, so they sell maybe 1 or 2, you know, and that covers their costs. But you would think, like, to have people making these little outfits, but again, like, this looks like maybe it's for a quarter scale figure, like at least the top part with the zipper, and you know he doesn't look right. No. But anyway, I guess we've ragged on them enough. You know, that's not what we're about. We're about positivity, but we positively don't like Star Ace. Let's see.
It is a little
Ben,
hard to be positive on that kind of thing sometimes. I would,
yeah.
I would say.
Ben, would you want to read this?
Yeah, Oiler's Workshop says, I genuinely wonder if they're catering to the play scale crowd, which is basically the Barbie market that looks for custom Barbies and they would probably think this is great if they don't know about it. And I think you might be right, Oilers, because like you were kind of saying, if you set this on a boardroom table and say, here's our final offering, if that person who or team who's reviewing it aren't necessarily collectors themselves, kind of like what I said, when I go back to 14 years ago, Ben, I might have looked at that figure and went, yeah, that looks pretty good. Hell yeah, I can tell who that's supposed to be for sure. It's better than any 7-inch toy that's existed, or even smaller scales than that. It's by far. Yeah, put it out. Signed off, right? If they have to run likeness rights through the actors themselves, like maybe Bill Murray doesn't care about his likeness being all that accurately represented. So maybe he was like, yeah, looks close enough. Like, I don't care. I'll take
Give me the bag.
Yeah, just give me
right?
the money. There you go.
So yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. If they're not either collectors themselves or at least have an appreciation for the art behind the workmanship, then it would be easy enough to say that is good enough.
Yeah.
But again, then it also tells me that they're really truly not listening to the community, because we are not alone here, and there's 3 of us on this panel, or even everybody listening, that feels like kind of just deflated by it, kind of just like, fuck, like, like I want to like it, but I just don't, and that's not a good feeling for such a great character. And honestly, I have no Bill Murray in my displays. Like I would 100% put a Bill in here. He's a wild dude, but like hell yeah, right? But no.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite movies from my my young days, and it's just disrespectful.
One of the best soundtracks in a movie. One of the 100%.
At the end of the day, it deserves more respect than what they're doing, and like when you watch I watched the behind the scenes of like Afterlife and everything, and they talk about how much they want to pay respect to the original, and just be very respectful, and how highly they think of it. And then you see whoever's in charge of licensing things out do this, okay, present toys, they don't have the license. So you get why they may not be up to snuff, but they're better than this. At least their costumes are.
Well, likely because they're a company that's fighting for license, right? They want to become licensed, I would imagine, at some point. Obviously, once again, there's pitfalls to sounding like being licensed, right? And once you're licensed, you also have a lot more hurdles to go through. You have to change your price points. Like there are pitfalls to being licensed companies, it sounds like. But on the other hand, why put yourself in the game if you're not trying to get those in your repertoire of characters that you can offer, right? Hot Toys was an unlicensed company at one point as well. And look what they've been able to become over the years. The only other problem that I have is, like when sometimes people are like, well, look how good Hot Toys are in comparison to these. Hot Toys has had, 20 years now, at least 15, 20 years of development, paint application improvements, technology improvements, like, digital imaging, like all of those things. So when you look back at, how shitty Hot Toys were when they started, versus what they are now, I mean, it's completely night and day, and you can be like, wow, look at the amazing trend Hot Toys has been on. These newer companies coming in, though, they don't have the benefit of starting shit and having 10 years to work up to the level of quality. It's like if they don't come in at the same bar as what we expect, then they're just not good enough. And that's why I still feel like I support companies like Mars Toys and some of these other offerings, because while they're not necessarily perfect representations either, you can tell the love is still there. You can tell that they're still trying, and they're going to continue to polish it and polish it and polish it until they become kind of that offering that we're looking for.
They're hungry.
So I think, but again, even like our scrutiny of InArt in the past and stuff, like InArt had to come in not only at the same bar but a higher bar, because that's what they advertise themselves to be. But that's pretty hard when you're competing now with computer technology and technology that it helps with paint applications and all of those things. It's a lot different game now than it used to be.
Look at Mars Toys, their Joker, their 66 Joker. Like, he's amazing. Like, you could put him up against pretty much anything Hot Toys does, and so like they are no slouch at all. And the one thing I did want to point out too is like Hot Toys, until InArt really came about with their Joker and people started getting it in hand and really started talking about it, Hot Toys was swinging and missing too. You know, they stepped up their game big time. You know, it was like one of those, oh, look at InArt, J&D, InArt. And then they were like, oh yeah, hold my beer. You know, they all of a sudden they realized they had to step up a bit. You know, so they were swinging and missing with some of those too. And they just showed, hey, they found out they can't do that anymore. You know,
but again, also playing in different turfs too, right? Like if InArt was doing 80 to 100 releases a year or announcements a year, it's a different game. When InArt's only giving us like 2 or 3 a year, they better be freaking amazing, because the amount like I'm still waiting on my InArt Batman. Like,
Me
I don't
too.
think I'm ever gonna get that figure. Like, it's been like 3 years or 2.5 years.
I just got the invoice. I just got the invoice.
Did you? Like, I was an entirely different person 2.5 years ago. Like, I don't. Jesus Christ, like, when is it gonna come? Right? But like, again, they're playing in different territories. So I agree. I think they added the pressure on Hot Toys to be like, don't let them take the wind out of our sails. On the other hand, Hot Toys still delivers so much more to us than InArt, I think ever will. I don't think they'll ever catch that kind of schedule.
Oh yeah, the only thing InArt really did, like, I agree with you, is they made Hot Toys pay a little bit more attention to the quality factor. Like, no one's gonna match Hot Toys with how many they release per year. InArt is, I don't think they'll ever get there. Like, Hot Toys, they are magicians when it comes to putting all these things out. Who knows how many like manufacturing plants they have, you know, cranking these figures out. You know, they get that part done. You know, my main point is they stepped up their quality, because they had a couple of slip ups with quality, and then they really haven't missed a beat.
Yeah, I mean, look how many years we waited for the Avengers Loki, right? Or the King Loki. And then, man, without the helmet on, that was rough.
Yeah. See,
I got him right there. I like him, but he's rough.
He's one.
But then, still, to your point against Mars Toys, like, I will say that Romero Joker was literally, I want to say, almost perfect. But I still am not totally sold on the likeness of my Jim Carrey Riddler. He's good, but he's like a 7 out of 10, like, likeness wise. You can tell Jim Carrey's in there, but again, not quite. And Alfred, while I think he makes a phenomenal side piece there for Bruce Wayne and the Batman setups, I also don't think they nailed Michael Gough as well.
You got to see that one in person. Have you seen that one in person?
I have not seen it in person. Maybe that's the difference.
It's really good. And I'll tell you this. My family will come in, and sometimes they'll point that one out. It's like, oh shit, like that one, yeah. Okay. And they'll be like, oh shit, that looks like the real person, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like,
that actually makes me happy. That actually makes me happy.
There you go. So, Jose, you want to take a crack at what 12-inch Moose Dream set?
What do you say? Even though Hot Toys early figures kind of suck, I still want the MMS SO0001. Kyle Reese has zero likeness of Michael Bean. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love
that's more of a flex. I feel like that's more of a flex to be able to say I have such an early version of Hot Toys. That's that's cool, right? Like, that shows the evolution. I can see the appeal, but it doesn't necessarily look too much.
Or the people that have that George Lucas, you know, the unofficial one, or whatever.
That one was it the director or something like that?
Or something like that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see, Oilers. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, Oilers Workshop says, agreed. I don't think InArt is going to surpass 10 or 12 figures a year, even at their most, when they get there. Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, I don't see that. No.
Like, they have to really change their production.
Well, which maybe they don't need to, right? I mean, at the end of the day, like, I still think that quality over quantity is better. There are some figures that I would rather wait, like, I would still rather wait longer for them to cook it in the oven longer and make it better. Than to rush it out the door just so we can fill our displays. Like, we're already a patient bunch. All of us are already waiting for some of these for so long. I think where InArt has failed is their expectation setting of their delivery times. Like, truly setting a benchmark for, if you order with us, this is how long it'll take. When they first joined the 6-scale world, they advertised themselves as no delays, no wait times. Like we're gonna get these out quickly, and we're gonna be basically better in every way than Hot Toys. And I would argue that they haven't really updated that expectation since. And I like the crew. I like the artwork. I like the figures that they've given us. It's the controlling of the message, like Marco always says, that I really still feel like needs to be worked on. And that's not even any shade against John. He seems like a really nice guy. I feel like he doesn't get given all of the answers that we need in order to be like, okay, well then if it's gonna be like this Batman situation, so many people are saying they don't have Batman, well, then give us an update on when the next several thousand are going to go out in terms of batches to the distributors, or are those already out? Is it the third party sellers that are taking longer? Like, just where in the process are they? That's all.
Yeah. And like, let me ask you guys, do you, with as much as Hot Toys is just beating us over the head with announcements and releases, do we really need two companies spitting out like 80 figures a year? Like, you know, it's hard enough to try and keep up with Hot Toys. So,
but it is an addiction, Ty, right? I mean, like,
it is.
Like, I would say only like 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I did like 6 YouTube videos in like 1 week, because it was like release after announcement after release after announcement, and it was like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then this week I was preparing for Let's Get Nuts, and I was looking at my show sheet being like, there's not really much to talk about. I kind of wish they'd release something or announce something. And I'm like, wait a second. 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh my god, for the love of God, like, stop, please. Like, I can't take it anymore. I got to throw my wallet off the balcony. And now I'm like, okay, when's the next announcement coming though? You know, like, so that's when I think collecting feels addictive, and like we're always waiting for that next piece. I got Batman in my hands this week. I'm immediately looking for what I'm going to bring in next. And you know, like, and I haven't even barely had time to enjoy the figure as it is yet. That's why I said to you earlier in the stream, this weekend I'm going to take time and actually enjoy what I have in this room, repose things, move them around, change it up a little bit, and then feel like I need to look for what comes next.
Yeah, it's you know, it's addictive, it's exciting, and for someone who has, you know, a problem with impulsivity like myself, it's terrifying. So this was not a bad week for me. It's like, please stop Hot Toys, please. So, but you know, it is like it's intense, you know, and it is definitely exciting. Does anyone know about that crappy Tom Cruise and Keanu Hot Toys before licensing?
The Tom Cruise I've seen before for sure. I don't know if I've seen the Keanu, but the Tom Cruise for sure, because that was from his first. Was it the first Mission Impossible film that they were creating the likeness from? But it was. I wanted to say his name was like Secret Agent or something. It was something along those lines. It was rough.
I say let's take a couple more comments and then, because we've been going pretty good here. Let's see, Jason Nelson, Jose, you want to take this one?
I'll take it. I have the Brandon Routh Hot Toys Superman, and his head sculpt seriously looks like a Barbie premium figurehead. I think I've seen that one. I think Philly has that one, but I think he switched and he put it like a custom head sculpt on that one because he hated the Brandon Routh sculpt.
There was it So Toys though? I think it was So Toys that did like the Kingdom Come version, and that one looked pretty solid, honestly.
Yeah,
that one looked
that
solid.
looked like him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna get him too, and I never did.
Oh yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, 12-inch Moose Stream says, on my daily daydreams, I hit the Powerball jackpot and buy all of the Hot Toys ever, then create a YouTube channel dedicated to the history of 6-scale figures. You could start that anyways, Moose. It sounds like you have an insane collection in behind you.
Exactly.
Already,
I will subscribe. You start that channel, I'm going to watch it.
Subscriptions are free. I'll do it. I'll hit the button.
Yeah. I want to see what this guy's got, because I'm living through him. You know, I'm living vicariously through him, because, you know, you weren't on here yet, but didn't he say he pre-ordered like 15? He's got 15 new pre-orders?
Yeah, I think we asked him if he had done that in a week or the last month or the last day, because I don't know with Moose. You know, you never know. No,
I'm insane.
But we love you, Moose. We love you.
The first step is being able to recognize it. Okay.
Exactly. Okay, I'll leave this one to you guys because I don't know anything about the Hot Toys, George Lucas.
Yeah, it's the one we were referencing, the director. The one that was unlicensed.
That's what I
they
think. That's
did
what
a
it was
Hot Wheels.
called. Yeah.
All right. All right. So, guys, I would say this has been a ton of fun for me. I wasn't sure how this one was going to go because, you know, we were running the show here, Jose. So,
We were.
you know, we didn't know if that was going to be a mistake on Marco's part or, you know, but I think we did okay. I've enjoyed it. Ben, thank you for coming on for the very first time. It's been a pleasure. It's been a while since we've been on a stream together. I've missed it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know,
join Let's Get Nuts every Sunday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you have an opportunity, I'd love to have you there, man. We've always got Classy Thomas with us there, and we've had Mike coming in quite a few times. Jose's been there many times. Eddie sometimes. Dean, like all of the guys that I love streaming with, you know, of course, are there. So yeah, I mean, open invitation. If you ever want to be there, buddy, just let me know. I can have up to 10 slots, so I can pretty much bring in anybody now when they want. So
awesome. I will do that.
Just so you know, I also shared the director in the bottom at where our chat faces are. Just if anybody wants to take a really quick.
Oh, let's take a look.
But,
okay. Ooh. All
yeah.
right.
So he was called the director. I was right. Yeah, and yeah, you like that's old school.
I think with the glasses.
Famous type.
Ooh, look at that hand. Jesus.
Yeah, right. It almost looks like he's got the wrong amount of fingers.
Would you guys buy if they made like an updated like likeness really good George Lucas like the director figure? Would you buy it?
I would buy it and put it on a Darth Vader throne.
That'd be funny. I would rather see the Stormtrooper with his head sticking out the top, like they'd had in the Black Series version. I think that would be cooler, but yeah, that's funny. So, cool. No, that's good. That's cool.
Oh wait, does Data look like Thrawn, or does Thrawn look like Data, Ben?
Thrawn looks like Data. Data came first in my heart, so that's what I will say.
Oh wait, we can't we're getting a list here.
Revan's Dark
Oh
Ruler,
my
Thrawn,
goodness.
2 lady pools, 2 kid pools. That's
This guy's amazing.
one to rock, one to stock.
Yeah, he's absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie. But fellas, this has been great. So let's see, Jose, what are you up to? What you got coming? What you got going on?
Not much. Usually on Mondays with Shane on the Hope Show. He just came back this past Monday, or his first episode back from his trip. So we had a fun episode then, kind of catching up on the summer. So I'm usually with on the Hope Show on Mondays. I try to be anywhere else. They invite me whenever I can, but things have been a little bit busier. But I've been on the Movie Cannons stream the last couple Sundays as well, but Sunday nights, I think it's like 6 p.m. Might try to join this week if I can, but it just depends. Sundays are tough. That's why I haven't been on with Ben in a while too, because Sundays have been a little tougher. Family always wants to do stuff, so we'll see. We'll see. But anywhere you'll find me here with you guys sometimes, and everywhere else.
Always welcome, Jose. Ben, my friend. How about you? What you got cooking?
Yeah, so the Ben Thomas Show channel just crossed a pretty crazy subscriber threshold milestone, so I'm looking at doing another channel membership giveaway here pretty soon. I'm trying to organize that. We'll be back for Let's Get Nuts this Sunday. I've got a couple people confirmed already, so it's going to be a fun show. We skipped last week because I ended up going to the Calgary Zoo, which was weird. I hadn't seen animals in person in a long time, so it was fun for the Sunday. But yeah, Let's Get Nuts will be back on Sunday. If you happen to have missed it, I did post an unboxing for my Batman figure. Those unboxings take like 5 hours to make those.
Oh
videos.
my God.
It's wild. So if you missed it, I would appreciate even a 5-minute viewing. That would be awesome. As well as I did a this or that for the HONŌ Iron Man and versus the Hot Toys one. So if you missed that, it's already on the channel waiting for you, ready to go. But otherwise, honestly, guys, I just love making my rounds and hanging out with you boys and saying hi to the community as always, and having some fun. And I'm going to go to the gym now and exercise, leg day. So that's all I got coming up. Join us on Sunday for Let's Get Nuts. Make sure you subscribe to these boys here as well, if for some reason you have lived under a rock and did not realize that these awesome streams are happening. Because yeah, it's a great community to be part of on this side.
Yeah,
So,
and watch Ben's review of the Batman. That was really good. I
Yes.
watched it yesterday. I was at lunch
buddy.
and watching it. I didn't say anything. But I think when you posted that you had got it, I said
Yeah.
something, but I didn't tell you anything after the fact. Really, really good. I liked your thoughts. I didn't think you were not critical enough. I think you addressed it many times. So.
For sure. I appreciate that. Yeah. As I said, it's one of those things, like, there are always going to be YouTubers out there that do unboxings and reviews better, like Justin's and those guys. For me, it's like, if I take the time to actually do an unboxing video, it's because I'm either really passionate about the character or I feel like I've got something else that I could share. But they do take such a long time to make.
Oh man, that's
so
why I don't do them.
I'm
That's
sure.
why I don't do them.
wild.
I was watching.
It just
there was
drives
a-
me crazy.
There was a section where you kind of held it on one of the accessories, and I was like, man, I wonder how he had to be how long he was doing that, recording each accessory and all that. And I was like, man, I don't envy you, man. Great video, but I don't envy you.
I know the hard work that goes into it, and I just it was just driving me crazy, so I don't do it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But
before you
I
go,
appreciate you.
Before you go on, buddy, Oilers Workshop says, Ben, how's that exclusive detonator that's totally still exclusive holding up? Oilers Workshop was kind enough to literally gift me one of the InArt ones, which was amazing. I'm a huge fan, so was amazingly generous, buddy. It's holding up good. It's in the display with Joker right now, so hell yeah. I don't know about its exclusivity, but it's a cool piece.
Someone tell me if I saw on a buy-sell trade, someone was selling their detonator for $80. Did any of you guys see that? And then someone was people were trolling him in the comments and oh, you can buy it on their website for $20, and he's so, or something like that, or it was it's sold out now or something, and I was like, whoa, $80 for that little piece. I was like,
what I will say,
Anyways.
it's in this tiniest little InArt shipper box I've ever seen. When I first brought it out of the container, I was like, oh, cute, and I was like, this little fucking little box. So it was good. Yeah, thanks for that.
If anyone wants to send me something, you can.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
send us stuff.
That was the first time. So I've been YouTubing for 2.5 years now. That's the first time anybody has ever sent me anything. It felt very special. So.
Well,
How do you send
are
stuff
very
to
special.
Canada? I mean, it's confused. It's like a third world country to us. How do
You have to
You're-
float. You have
you're
to
very
float it on
special.
an iceberg across the water. The polar bears pick it up, in Vancouver, and then they bring it. So
Dude.
very
Look,
good.
now that you mentioned it, I gotta say this real quick. I shipped my last throne to someone in Chewy's Bandolier, and he is in Canada. And I have learned a lot about shipping to Canada. And I thought we were allies, and it come to find out I don't know if we are, because this was way more difficult, than I ever imagined. And yeah, I've learned a lot, and it's going to take some redesigning. I did
something called Pirate Ship, but
I did it. I
used
used Pirate Ship, and I felt like I was doing well. It didn't cost a lot at first with Pirate Ship, but then I had to pay import fees.
Oh my god!
Oh gosh!
It's like 140 Canadian.
Oh my god!
Oh my!
I was like, what the hell is this?
That's hilarious.
So I've learned quite a bit, and next time I ship something is going to be smaller and in pieces, so it will not be the same kind of box. I've got to make some alterations to that model or something, because Jesus. But anyway, guys, I thank you. I'm still trying to get a functional workspace going, and I want to throw some more content. The goal, I would like to hit at least 500 subscribers by the end of the year. I was very shocked to see how many people watched the 35-second YouTube short I made of a Deadpool mask with the magnets. It was like even YouTube was surprised. It was like 3.6, 3,600 people watched it. I was like, what? And they were like, whoa, you got a lot of views on this. I was like, yeah, you're not kidding. But so I want to do more. I'm going to try to do more, and hopefully get to those magical higher numbers, but it takes time.
Yeah, man. Do more of those shorts.
Yeah.
Well, and poke me if you want for longer form content, or for short content, for things like hashtags and trending sounds and stuff. That's usually kind of really what helps drive that traffic. So if
Yeah,
I can
I
help
don't know how
it,
many
I
times
certainly will. So
I
I'm
need
on
your
my
help.
phone,
I need your
and
help.
and it's like Ben's Shorts comes up, and it's like, this is your figure if you like, and this is your figure if you
Oh, yeah.
subscribe.
I've
And it's
seen
like,
I've only done
that.
about 10 of those, and that one's driving me absolutely bonkers. I will say I hate it. The only downfall with trending anything is like if you don't follow the trends, you get left behind. And so it's like, I posted the Batman short yesterday, and I got like 600 views, which is great. It's not about the views. It's just like I want people to see the stuff, right? But if you start using trending sounds too often, it drives people nuts as well and pisses people off. So it's kind of like it, and as the creator, it pisses me off because I have to listen to that thing every night for a while. And so, so if you hate it, I hate it too. I apologize. I just want to try and get the content out. But yeah, that particular soundbite really needs to die. I really hope it does soon, honestly. But in terms of the hashtags and, as I said, even trending songs and stuff, if I can help, let me know.
I am definitely going to pick your brain, my friend. But again, I appreciate both of you being here. This was my first time ever hosting. It's been fun, and I look forward to doing it again. And Jose, I think you're going to be doing some hosting in the future as well.
yes, so yeah. Trying to get used to it,
Yeah. So if you guys would like to take us out of here, we will get out.
See you, boys. See you,
Later,
everybody.
guys.
All right, later.
How you feeling, man?
Pretty good, okay?
Say what?
I'm fine. I'm pretty fine.
What?
Well, yeah, I'm good.
How are you?